I, Vegeta, the Prince of all Saiyans, hereby command that you do not listen or subscribe to the Dragon Ball 4 Life podcast. Whatever you do, would you defy royalty? No! Bye!
Anime, we have your attention please and welcome to another episode of Dragon Ball 4 Life, where you come for the content but you stay for the culture. That's right, we talking about Peter B. Parker if he was a little bit darker. We giving Miles Morales all his flowers. What else we doing? What else? We talking about Hobie Brown because Spider-Punk stay holding it down. You know,
talk to him.
And as always, we preaching the good word on all things nerd. We have a very special Spider-tastic episode, ladies and gentlemen. We have not one but two very special guests. One returning and one making her debut. She been around, but she ain't been around. But before we introduce our very special guest today, as always, we are your hosts, the Fusion Dance Dons, aka the Manga Gods, aka the deadliest backcourt in the podcasting game. I go by the name of Bro Jeter, the Prince of all Sayings, Mr. Matty Ice, aka Matthew Porter, here with my counterpart, the Oob to my Majin Buu, my Den Day One, going from the lookout to the cookout. I'm Mr. Troto Trav. Talk to the people, Trav.
What's going on? It's Troto Trav. You know me. I stay chilling, and I love thy women like curling, but you know what?
He loves them. He does love them.
This episode is going to go so well because we got a panel full of non-haters, unlike Miguel. So let's get it.
I love it. Air horn. Some party.
I'm starting off with lies.
All right, we buried the lead because I want to send you last, ma'am. So you putting your voice on the airways, you're ruining the surprise for the listeners. But our two very special guests are two people who are very near and dear to my heart. A returning guest back on the scene. He took time out of his very busy schedule to appease you, the lifers, because he is known as the hardest working man in comics. That is not a rumor. That is not a title.
It's
that is the fact of life. Just the fact of life. We have returning guests. Our brother, you like him, you love him. In another multiverse, he caught Michael J. Fox. You know, that's all I'm saying. We have returning guests, Mr. Victor Dandridge. How are you, good sir? How are you, good brother?
Well, hello.
Welcome.
Listen, I struggled with getting my wristband to work. My day task was great, and you know what I'm saying.
You thought you bought the multi-day? It was just a one day. It was a 1 day.
It was just a 1 day. You know, I'm thinking I'm in my dimension. I end up in the wrong dimension. I don't know what was going on, but I'm here. I'm back. Glad to be chatting with you guys and saying what's up to the Dragon Ball 4 Life family. As always.
Our fourth guest, the fourth member of our panel, is someone that you hear every day. You hear her name every episode. Every time you play a DB4L episode, you hear her. We honor her. We love her in all caps.
Hey, shout out to...
look, I see what you did there. Okay. But ladies and gentlemen, making her DB4L debut, she is the soul of DB4L, the backbone, the lady that keeps the lights on, that keeps the gas in the car, keeps the motor running. Miss Yali, all caps, Perez. Ma'am, you finally here.
Welcome.
Here.
The long-awaited debut.
Thank you. So happy to be here. Finally here with you guys. Even though I'm always here with you guys in spirit.
Always here.
Glad to be the hater that you all needed. I'm not the hero you asked for, but I'm the hero you deserve.
And we had talked about it a bit earlier because you're not as enthralled with this movie as we are.
No, I'm not the again. Not that I hate the movie. Again, as someone whose job used to be as a film critic, I'm much more particular when it comes to films. So I don't just instinctively love things, even though I'm like a big nerd. But this film was not the film I thought it was going to be. But doesn't mean I hated it. I just didn't love it. That's all.
Yeah, so for you listeners, you know, because our super producer Mikey is gonna fix a lot of it. You know, Vic had he blipped out a little bit. He got Thanos snapped. He got Thanos snapped. But you'll never know because we seamlessly blended all this together. I mean, who knows? We might put it out one day. Like, how the intro really went. We might put it out one day.
No. Let's just blame it on what it is. Okay, they put a hole in the multiverse. I got blipped into another universe, but
That's what it was.
I'm back.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
Hey, Vic, I gotta ask you
Always
something.
bothering this podcast,
Yes.
so we have a Thanos problem consistently.
I mean, it is rough. It is rough.
You know what
Vic,
it was?
when you got blipped, did you meet the multiverse version of yourself that is the laziest working man in comics? Because you know there's going to be a version of you that isn't the hardest working man in comics. So
I don't want to meet that dude. I ain't gonna lie to you. I don't want to meet that dude at all because I would just be disgusted.
No, he's in.
I would just look at him like
He's in a different genre. He's the laziest working man in nonfiction. Like he switched up the genre. he hates comics. He hates comics. Yo.
Those are real books. Yo, I just have to turn the hat back on and be like, what'd you say?
Back up.
Say it again.
Square it up.
Yeah,
well, if y'all haven't realized by now, we are covering Across the Spider-Verse. I will say part one. I mean, if you super spoiler at the beginning, but if you haven't seen it by now, why are you here? I mean, thank you for being here. Stay so we can get the
But
click.
they already announced it. Like, I don't understand. People are like, oh my God, is there going to be a part 2? They literally said that from the jump. Like,
did they really? I ain't gonna hold you.
Yeah, they did.
I had no idea.
I had no idea. I was very happy. I was pleasantly surprised. Yeah. Like when he got kidnapped to talk about the end at the beginning, when he had got kidnapped by himself, I was just like, wait, there's so much more that needs to be resolved. I feel like I've been in this bitch for 3 hours.
and once they had the music playing for like you're like, oh wait, this sounds like some ending movie type.
Yeah.
Wow.
Only Vic and I paid attention to like.
I mean, because
right?
like literally when they changed the date, they said it was part 1. So
Did they for real?
Yeah. When it got moved to 2023, they were like part 1, and I'm like, oh, okay, it's gonna be a 2-parter. That's why they.
I'm kind of glad I didn't pay attention.
Yeah, I was very happy, and nobody else in the theater that I was in paid attention either. Because some were like, "What the fuck?"
The amount of phone calls I got from people who were like, "Yali, what's going on?" I was like, "Y'all didn't pay attention to the rollout." What do you mean the rollout? Okay, I'm gonna hang up now. I don't know you.
That's hilarious. That's hilarious. But yeah, we're here to talk about Across the Spider-Verse Part 1. So I guess we'll just to pick back up with where Yali left off.
Yeah, sorry, Ms. Yali.
So it's very rare that when people give me their endorsements for a movie, I'm just like, I take it with a grain of salt. Like, all right, cool. Like, but Vic is one of those few people that I hold in high regard. When he says some shit's fire, I'm like, all right, I definitely know it's fire. So when we finally got to meet in person at Philly Fan Expo 2023, so he told me, me, him, and shout outs to super producer Mikey. He couldn't be on today. He wanted to be on, but we gonna have him back on again for another review or something. And we were all staying together talking about it. And Vic had made a statement. He was just like, I'm not even saying that this might be the best animated superhero movie of all time. It could be in contention for being the best superhero movie of all time altogether. And just, based off of that, I was like, I'm seeing this.
I'm shaking your head for this conversation.
Look, this is why I wanted to start here. So based off Vic's endorsement, I went and saw the movie immediately. I dragged my daughter out the house at 10 p.m. I was like, bring your ass. We gonna go see it.
Wake up.
But she really likes Miles Morales because my daughter is half Hispanic, half black. Well, her mom's half Hispanic, so she's 1/4. Do the math. But so she really likes Miles Morales. Kind of a similar conversation that we had
I'm sorry, Matt. Did you just say your daughter is Puerto Rican? Is that what you just said?
That's what I'm saying now. That's what I'm saying now.
Stop it! I'm so sorry.
Puerto Rican.
I'm so sorry.
She's taking that to the grave.
Fucking.
Y'all see what we do.
I'm buying the shirt. I'm buying the shirt. Yeah, Mikey, yo, bleep that shit out, bro. That's gonna be DB4L merch. Puerto Rican.
Let's go.
Puerto Rican, representing for my Puerto Ricans. Fucking hilarious. Yeah, no, I love it, bro. But I dragged her Puerto Rican ass out the house to go see the movie. And yo, we loved it. We was locked in because it's weird because I would consider myself to be a cinephile, but like my daughter, unless she really likes it, she's like the kid that's like squirming in the seat, falling asleep, wasting my hard-earned money. Like I'll be trying to take her to see all the dope like kid events and shit, and she be like, yeah, we could go, it's whatever. I feel like she just goes for the snacks. She goes for the snacks and the snacks in the recliners. Like she'll like kick her feet off, like her shoes off. I'm like, what the fuck are your shoes at? She be on the floor. She just like, chilling. I was like, we are not home.
At least she respectful. She don't put her feet on or her shoes on other people's furniture.
Look, I'd be like,
like some people.
No, that's facts. But I'm like, in this case, these floors are filthy. Put your shoes back on. You're not about to bring these floor germs back in my house.
I got you.
But she was like super into the movie. It was funny at the beginning of the movie when Gwen's doing her like, oh, what I've been up to thing. One, shout out to Metro Boomin because this fucking soundtrack was crazy. Was crazy. So like when Gwen was doing her little montage of what she's been going through, like the song was playing, my daughter going to lean over to me. She said, this song hits different. I was like, facts, my nigga.
How come she ain't on this episode, bro? What are we doing?
Look. If she's not here, but she definitely I would have put her in. Her and her sister are with their mother. Like, I got a break. I got a break today. Like, that was my Father's Day gift that she took the kids. Like, and I was like, thank you, thank you, please. Like, take it, please. But the soundtrack was crazy. But I said all that to say that like your endorsement made me want to go see it, and using my daughter as a barometer. Like I said, she is hard to catch her attention in the movie theater. But she was locked in. She ain't fall asleep. I kept checking because I just knew she was going to be asleep. I was like, you missing all this black excellence? She was like, nah, nigga, I'm here, bro. Like, I'm invested.
Stop looking at me. Look at the screen. Dad.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, turn my head back. She's like, yo, I'm awake. Like, I was like, all right, just checking.
So you watching the movie?
But surprise, we have a panelist that wasn't as captivated or mystified by this movie. And lifers, like if you have transferred over here from any past mediums that we've all done together, you know that this young lady she isn't the most supportive person. When it comes to films. Like one would call her a hater, another would even go as far as to say that she does it professionally. She's not from out of town. It's strictly residential. Everybody's favorite residential hater.
Strictly residential.
Press, tell us why you weren't taken in by all the majesty that was across the Spider-Verse.
So I'm like a really big Spider-Man fan. So I don't have the best relationship with my dad. We currently don't speak. But one of the things that my dad taught me was like Spider-Man and X-Men, like from the very beginning, like. Not sure if everybody knows, but at a certain point in my time, I was raised as a boy, just so my parents can hide the fact that I look like a grown woman at 9 years old. And so part of my boy training was 1, football, and 2, comics. So my dad would spend every day teaching me, like he had like the baseball cards of all of the Spider-Man and X-Men characters, and I spent every day like learning about each character over and over and over again, like repetition. So I know a lot about X-Men and Spider-Man like cold. So when I was excited, I really loved the first one. Like, oh my god, I could watch it when it comes on TV, especially Freeform, they play that shit like it's regular television, like if it was a series.
Right.
It
doesn't matter if it's like the last 10 minutes. I will sit there and watch the last fucking 10 minutes. And also like Hello Danger, like is my go-to gym song.
It's a great song.
Good choice.
So with that, I had like a lot of expectations built up for the next one. And then I knew the next one was just going to be like, we're going to throw every character at you. So me, who knows a lot of who those characters are, I had like a lot of expectation about who they were going to be, how they're going to interact with Miles. And so it was just a lot of like expectation. So the movie, in my mind, I had a different movie in my head about how they would interact with him and how the Spider Society was going to be. And I think what I disliked was a portrayal of like a lot of the characters, essentially. Like, to me, Miguel, or at least the Miguel I know, is not that angry. And it played a lot into the stereotype of like the angry Hispanic man. Like, in my mind, Miguel was just more hopeful than an angry person. Yeah, he had a lot of trauma in his past in the comics, but he wasn't all an angry man. He was just hurt, a person who had to deal with trauma. I did like his banter with Peter B. Parker, especially with him having Mayday, like the way they explain it. Also, Mayday is the cutest thing in the world. If they don't sell me like Mayday dolls, I'll be fucking upset.
That's on the way. It's on the way.
It's an easy $200 you could get from me right now. Like, you can have it.
Yeah.
I didn't mind like the change in Jessica Drew. Like, that didn't bother me at all. I liked that they were trying to like, in some ways, make up for the whole like the pregnant woman thing, like, which was so controversial for some reason. Like, why can't pregnant women go out there and work? Whatever. But the other thing I didn't like is just like, I dislike what they did with making Gwen like the villain, essentially. It's like, here comes this white girl like fucking up Miles' life with his family and like disregarding what his mom and dad had to say. And essentially, I know the term they use in this movie is like canon event, but if we were going by like the Marvel thing, it'd be like a Nexus event. Like, she kept essentially changing history, even though they kept trying to make it seem like it was Miles was the one who was changing history. Like, essentially, it was actually Gwen who was the one not listening, making Miles have to make decisions he wouldn't have necessarily made if Gwen wasn't interfering. And so then Gwen would have to go and like take it back. And so it was kind of like this weird like cat and mouse thing of like, who's going to be the one to like fix it, even though the other one was the one who messed it up. And there's like this back and forth thing that I didn't really like. And I also feel like the movie neglect the one thing that I feel like all Spider people have, which essentially is like seeing the good in everybody. And I feel like a lot of the Spider people missed that, which is Spider-Man is always going to, or I'll just say Spider-Man. Spider-Man always sees the good in everyone. Out of everyone in the Marvel Universe, Spider-Man is always going to be like, wait, let's stop and listen to what they have to say before we jump to a conclusion. Let's listen to, maybe there's something that we're missing. Like, Spider-Man always could see, the good in Doc Ock, and the good in the Lizard. And, like, he always was just like, wait a second. Like, why are we fighting for, And you can see some of that in Tom Holland's character in Civil War, which is like, wait, what? And I feel like and especially Miles, out of all of them, Miles was always the first one to be like, what? Like, why? I don't get why we're doing this. So I feel like that was really lost. I think Peter B. Parker had some of that, but I feel like they just dropped the ball with taking away the thing that people really like about Spider-Man is he's the most human out of the human characters that we have in the Marvel Universe. So that's why that's my main reason for not liking it. It's like they took away the main aspect of what it means to be a Spider-Man or a Spider-Woman or a Spider-Cat or a Spider-T-Rex or, Spider-Man are full. I love Spider-T-Rex. I love the Spider-Cat. This is the main reason why I like Spider-Ham. It's just like, they're just so cute. And also, I will buy those things. Like, I have no problem buying those things. So that's really why I didn't like it. It's like,
saying, take my money.
It lacked the hope. There was no hope throughout the entire film. Like, every time, I would just kept waiting for one of the other Spider people to be like, wait a fucking minute. Like, why are we doing this again? Like, he's one of us. Shouldn't we give some semblance of, like, doubts, shadow of doubt or trust that he knows what he's doing? Like, yes, canon events or whatever, but we should trust him because we're also him. And like, no one did that for me in the entire film. And also, I do agree that Gwen was just fucking shit up. Like, I wanted like Miles' mom to like hit her with a chancla, like, yo, shut the fuck up, and like, when you gonna listen to what the fuck I have to say?
He said, go home.
That's real. That's real.
You know what's so funny about that? The part, like, obviously, you know, it's a fantasy movie, superhero stuff, like, you know, suspend disbelief. But the part that I had the hardest time, like, comprehending is, like, when they put him on punishment and then immediately let him go out. I was like, that's not realistic.
Especially from Black and Hispanic parents.
Thing.
Like, nah.
No, it's actually
that ain't
the
never
most
happened.
realistic thing ever. So, as a Hispanic kid who has a brother, or several brothers, as you know, if you are the boy and you get punished, they will let you off if you have something to do.
Oh, that ain't my experience.
That is
like,
you're the girl.
Yeah.
Your punishment is stayed. Like, you are, whatever time they told you done.
Oh, yeah.
But if
See how she came back and told Jefferson that she let him off, and he was like, "What?" Like,
yo, yeah, exactly. That black was like, "Wait, you did what?"
no.
Like, yo, like the way that would have went in my reality, when Gwen came and wanted to talk, you could talk to your little friend later. Tell her bye. Like, you can say bye. That's all I would have got. Like, you can say bye. Yeah. Bring your ass right back in the house.
Matter of fact, you're grounded at the party. You have to stay at the party. Do not leave. Like, no. You stay up here.
You have to not only have to stay at the party, you're not allowed to party. Just stay here. Go sit down.
You stay here. You go sit down over there so I can see you.
Like, go make you a plate real quick and then go sit your ass down. And now you're just in the corner watching people party and shit. And then to take a step further, like your especially your moms would do is make you like quarantine. Like, don't go talk to him. He's in trouble. Like, all your cousins want to come say don't say no. Don't talk to him.
You want to be in trouble too?
Like, hey, if you go over there, you staying over there.
No, not Hispanic culture. Hispanic culture, if it's the boy, he can do whatever the hell he wants. The girl, you was in trouble. Like, you're not even at the party. You're not doing nothing. You are at home. Your brother's out there having a good time. And then also, I like that they kept the fact that, like, getting a B in Spanish is like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, what are we doing at home?
It's your language.
Yo, when she snapped in the flag, bro, I was like, like, you're done.
If it's not an A, what are we doing at home? Like,
that's right.
The ass beating you got at home for getting a B in Spanish is very real. Like, I was like, damn, Miles, you got a B? Like, the fuck?
But at least he fessed up. He's like, I missed classes. Like, that's why.
I missed
classes.
That's facts.
You know what? I gotta, like, if I can jump in on that, Yali, what I appreciate the most, and I think this is one of the reasons why this film is such a powerful, pivotal piece of cinema, is that it automatically invokes a personal experience with how you view this movie. And so in the context of your critique, the personal lens that you have makes it so viable of what you're saying that, to me, though you are having a harsh critique, it is speaking to the beauty of this film. That it could speak to you as a person, not just like, oh, this is a story we're telling and just catch up how we're telling you. You're like, this is a reality that I know, and this is something that I feel, and either you live up to the expectation of what you've already given me, or I'm going to hold you accountable to that. I appreciate that on a multitude of levels, and big shout out to you on that one. Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm not saying I wouldn't like rewatch it or anything like that. Like, we'll definitely watch it again. And like I said, I'm not saying I hate it. It's just not the film I thought it was going to be. Because again, I have this feeling of like this vision in my head of like what all spider people are supposed to be. They're the ones that have like the most heart as far as Marvel characters go. Like, you got the Punishers, like, we just gonna shoot him in the head and that's the end of the story. You know what I mean? Like, fuck it, it is what it is. And, you know, Wolverine, you know, acts before he thinks, and we have some who are just more analytical. We have the ones who are just, you know, I mean, people can say like, oh, Captain America is all heart, but he's also big as fuck. It's like, there's totally difference where he's super strong and he's like, you know, they all have their specialties, but Spider-Man is the one who's like from the from the streets, from the ground, and he's with the people every day. Like, there's a difference of where they all come from. So especially with Miles, who represents two different cultures, and like he's just a different Spider-Man. And for like the rest of the Spider people just be like, oh, now he's the enemy, all right, fuck him. And like, that's, to me, like, that's not how it works. That's not my experience with them. Like,
I'm about to say, I have a take on that too.
Yeah, because I'm about to say, I'm telling y'all right now, I'm putting my
all y'all were gearing up. I saw all this from all y'all.
Yeah, this is about to get real. This is about to get
my spidey senses is tingling, bro.
This is going. I do want to bring up what you said about the context of Gwen being the villain. I think this is the one carryover of my complaint from the first movie. And it was that Gwen had an incomplete story, that she should have been considered far more responsible for the death of that universe's Peter Parker than even Miles, because she had been there for a week with her powers before he died. So in context, Gwen is always this one that is messing something up. We just didn't look at it that way. The fact that she got booted into Miles' universe a week prior to him getting his own spider bite, but she didn't involve herself with that universe's Peter Parker. She is that catalyst. She's the one that went to Vision's Academy. Even if she was a student of Vision's in her own universe, she went there and was drawn there to Miles. It's her. She is the thing that sparks it all. And I think this movie really kind of leans into that more than the first one really did. And to that end, I really appreciated how at the beginning of this movie, we almost get a split in terms of who this movie is going to be about. Where it is Gwen saying, it's my fault. Like, I messed this up. And I think that harkens back to what was unofficially established in the first movie, but actually stated very clearly in this one that is the problem. It's her. She is the issue. To your point about Spider-Man, though, I think the context of this movie is that Miles isn't actually Spider-Man yet. The whole realm of things that have to happen to truly be Spider-Man haven't happened to him yet. And that is the issue. That is why they're not considering him that same way. Because not only has it not happened to him yet, it was never supposed to happen to him. And they know that. And if they allow this to happen to him, what does that do? Does that create something totally different? Does that put them all in danger? What does that do to them? And in that greater context of Spider-Man-isms, I think that's probably the most Spider-Man thing to happen is, as good as the intentions are, the world craps on me. And here I am doing all the things like Spider-Man. I'm trying to be my own dude, but I don't have the webbing and everybody's making fun of my underarm blood.
He's bleeding from his underarms? I've never seen that before.
Yeah, what's going on with that? Because Miles is so unique, that becomes a threat to them. And that's a way bigger story in subtext that I think we'll see more of play out, because in truth, from a phenomenological narratologist standpoint of storytelling, this was only up into the second act, right? Like this stops right when like a true major inciting incident occurs. Like, we understand that in terms of antagonistics, Miguel has a point, and he has a very sincere, structured point for what he has to do and what he's trying to maintain. He's not wrong for that. We definitely understand he's not wrong for that. But his point of contention goes directly against what Miles's is. Because what Miguel is essentially trying to do is say, I want you to be Spider-Man. And in order for you to be Spider-Man, your dad has to die. It has to happen, or else you're never actually going to be Spider-Man. That's going to be a problem. So if you want to be one of us, this has to happen. And Miles is like, no, I don't want that. He does have the hope. I can save everybody. I can do both. And Miguel is like, these are tenets. Like, it's not even a matter of that I'm not hopeful. Look at all of us. We all had to do this. And the hard part was nobody was there to tell us that this had to happen. We had to embrace and accept that on our own later. Mm-hmm. You're getting the upfront where we're like, yo, I hate to be that guy, but if you want to be one of us, this has got to happen, bro.
By the way.
Yeah, like I think there's so much in this movie, which is why I say it is like literally the best superhero movie of all time, because everyone will get something different out of it depending on where you are. And I think that's the true majesty of it. Of course, I loved it because where I am, this spoke to me on the right levels. I can totally understand how if it pushes the wrong buttons for you, then by all means, like, yeah, this pushed that button. I don't like that. Makes perfect sense. It's not even a matter of, well, they didn't do this part well. It's they did that part too well, and I don't like that. Boom. Like, 1,000,000% I get that. And I thoroughly appreciate that position.
Yeah, but kind of like going off of what you were saying, I thought like Miguel's like cynicism, that was like part of it. Like I feel like that was done on purpose, because like assuming he either started the Spider People Network or was like one of the first people, or he's clearly in charge. Like whether it was he started it or he inherited it, it was clearly in charge. So kind of like what Vic was saying, like, yo, you have to go through this to be a Spider-Man. Essentially, he's kind of had to be like a grief counselor for thousands of Spider-Mans that he's recruited. Like after that canon event happens, like, all right, bro, you can be squad now. And like having to deal with the death of Uncle Ben again and again and again and again and again, or Aunt May again and again and again and again. I would imagine that would like severely harden his heart, because he's just like, damn, like it's my job to keep my version of the multiverse together. I got to recruit these other people who have shared trauma like me. And I got to pick them up like right at a really fucked up moment in their life. Like that's when I'm recruiting them, like, and then different people. So it's like having to stand close to that much like death and everything. Like I can see like why my man stressed out, and he's battling vampirism. You know, that can't be easy.
That's gotta suck. Like,
that would put anybody in a bad mood.
Just fine with it. Yeah, friends and shit. He doing just fine.
So how that man doing all that trauma and still stays fit? Doesn't
right. Doesn't let himself go.
Yeah.
Facts. I ain't see my man with a glass of scotch. Fact. And then also to like what Vic had referenced, like, or kind of what you both had referenced, I could see why he was just like so like, oh yo, Miles, nah, you about to fuck shit up, because he literally just got done watching Tom Holland's Peter Parker fuck up, and it's the same shit. A young kid who thought he could do both and fucked up his universe, and now nobody knows who he is. So it's just like, oh, I literally, and they mentioned it in the movie, like, yeah, that kid in Doctor Strange, you know, fucking with the timeline, like, so he had like if we're assuming that things are unfolding in movie time, like in the similar pattern they are for them, he literally just saw that take place. So like, here comes Miles, like, oh shit, this looks real slimmer. I just saw this happen last week. I know exactly what's gonna happen if we try to let this kid do both. He about to fuck some shit up. So he's like, y'all not gonna catch me slipping.
and you know what? Even to jump in harder on that point, how many Spider-Men aren't variations of a Peter Parker? Like, I think there's also something to that too. So we got Miguel, we got Jess, we got Spider-Bite, we got Miles, we got Gwen. I think it might be like one or two more. Penny. Everyone else is a variation of a Peter Parker, right? Even Spider-Man India, that's a variation of Peter Parker.
Paviter?
Yeah. So
I love him.
He's amazing.
Yeah.
Is there something from the people that are not Peter Parkers that are Spider-Man, that they have a harder context for what it means to be Spider-Man if you're not Peter Parker? Like, that becomes something even bigger, and also why Miguel would be like, nah, this is why this is so crazy, because if you're not a Peter Parker, how you handle this will be different, and what can happen if you're not a Peter can be really detrimental by you trying to do all these things that you think are so great. And I think that there's something very valuable to that on a multitude of levels, where it's like, we might not be able to get away with this because we're not Peter Parkers. You know, Peter will find a way, and it's always a thing. I get it. He's the best, blah, blah, blah. Even if you want to go into the comics where when Otto Octavius had taken over Peter Parker's body as, you know, Superior Spider-Man, there came a certain point where Otto was like, I can't do it. It has to be Peter. So there could be some Nexus event that says that Peter Parker could fix it. But here we have this place where multiversal institutions interrupted their Peter Parker, and they know that that's going to be a problem flowing down the line. You had a Peter Parker, and it wasn't supposed to go this way. And through this event, that's gone. Now I have a bigger problem, and I don't know how to articulate that, because how do I explain that to somebody? That, you getting the powers, okay, that's cool for you, but we actually screwed a lot of stuff up that we probably can't ever fix. And I'm trying to, put my fingers in the dike before all the water spills out. And I don't know if I can actually do it. I think there's a lot of levels, and obviously this will all get, more hashed out with Beyond, at least I hope. But I think there's a lot of that in it as well.
Facts. Because correct me if I'm wrong, Miles, to go along with your theory, Miles is the only Spider-Man that existed in the same universe as another Spider-Man, right? Like everybody else was like either Peter Parker or a replacement of Peter Parker. Like Gwen took Peter Parker's space in her universe, but like Miles is the only one who had like a Spider-Man also in his shared universe, right?
Right, right.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I mean, look, it sounded like Miles is a Nexus being to me. Give us something.
But here's the thing that like also bothered me about the movie. It's just like, about, I think it's just, maybe it's more what has to do with like how Marvel and Sony are like handling multiverses and how they're handling time. It's just like, okay, they're saying like, oh, this movie, like we can't be fucking with the timeline because, we just had Tom Holland fuck with the timeline and like we can't have another Spider-Man fucking with the timeline. All right, but Loki just fucked with the timeline. Doctor Strange just fucked with the timeline. And Wanda just fucked with the timeline. So like, why is it the Spider Society's job to not fix the timeline? Like, who really is in charge with the fucking timeline? Because anyone can just obviously fuck with it at this point. Like,
I got
too
the
much
answer.
is going on with the timeline, and at this point, I'm tired. That's why
The person in charge got their
No
out of
timeline
office
fatigue.
on.
anyone can just mess with it at this point. Like,
Nah, look. I'm about to crack the code for you. Wanda, Doctor Strange, Loki, they all Disney employees. Miles Morales is a Sony employee, bro. Disney can fuck up the timeline. They own the timeline.
Nah, you stopping us.
They acknowledge it's Sony Disney employees.
Nah, you stopping at the surface level, bro. Let's keep it a million, okay? Here we go. You said Wanda, you said Strange, you said Loki.
Look, I wasn't trying to say white privilege.
I'm just saying,
I mean, technically, Loki's blue. Technically, he's blue.
That might be that's what he looks like, but what's he pass at?
You're right. That's what he puts on his job applications. He check other.
Listen, he could have chose any color in the world. What he look like? He could have looked like Heimdall for all we wanted. You know what I'm saying? But instead, he was like, you know what? I'm gonna go for these locks. I'm gonna go for these luxurious,
this coiffed
black
hair.
curls. You know what I'm saying? He made a choice. Bro.
Are you telling me he's Loki Dolezal?
Let's go.
Is that what I'm hearing right now?
Hey yo.
I'm just like a little. I'm just tired of like this timeline phase or whatever we're calling it because there's no real resolution to it. If all we're doing is every time we do a movie or something, what if we do the timeline? It's like, okay, and now what?
Well, you know, if asked about it, Kevin's just gonna say like, "Oh, we're making all these movies incongruent and messy on purpose. That's the multiverse. It's supposed to be messy with mad plot holes."
Like, I thought it was cool. Like at the end, it was like, "Oh, Prowler." I was like, "Oh, cool," and like that was cool. But I know that they're just gonna like reverse it with the timeline. And I'm just like, if this is not gonna stay, it's not gonna be permanent. I don't care. That's how I felt about it. Don't give me something cool, and then you're gonna take it away by reversing the timeline. Like it's annoying. At this point, it's just an annoying thing that like. It's almost like when like maybe this is like a '90s thing, like when they give people amnesia. And it's just like
it was all a dream. We just
like that thing. Like I don't want that to be this because. What's the point of building up a story, giving us really cool elements, only to take it away by reversing the timeline.
Yeah,
It's just like no one cares anymore.
I hate the amnesia working to a plot. I hate it so much. Oh, amnesia.
Shit,
how do we get out of this problem?
Amnesia.
I don't know if anyone watched Once Upon a Time, but like they did the amnesia thing like 8 times in a row. I was like, how many fucking times this time?
The Hyperion height shit for the very last season. Yeah, definitely.
Like, what is this?
Amnesia. It's Disney, baby.
Can I stir the pot a little bit?
Yes, stir it. That's why we're here.
Troublesome question.
Love it.
Did you feel any sort of politics at play with the changing of the family name being Morales?
Because his name is Miles Davis.
His name is Miles Davis. Now, we knew from the comics.
And Jefferson's last name is still Davis in the movie, but him and his mom.
In the first movie, it is. It's Morales in the second.
Oh, is it really?
It is Davis in the first movie. Yeah. It's Jefferson Davis.
And everybody's Morales in the second one.
And everybody's Morales in the second one. So,
you know what's crazy? There were certain parts when he would, like, the character would talk, and I was like, is he Hispanic too? Like, when did that happen? Like during that party when he was talking to the relatives, I was like, either my man is code switching or I missed something.
Something, right? And
damn, I didn't peep.
Because at first I was like, well, maybe in this universe it is customary for men to take the matriarchal name. But having watched the first movie again, no, he's Davis in the first movie. So why did they change it? Like, what is it? Is there? I mean, I've heard some people complain that Miles, his blackness is being kind of stripped away a little bit, and I'm not one that necessarily likes to play that card, but I can see that argument being made, particularly with the idea of him failing Spanish. Everybody's now Morales. He's using his Spanish descent to try to connect with Miguel. Again, like, because you know what I'm saying? He heard Miguel and was like, "Oh, what up, brother?"
He said, "I speak Spanish."
Like that part, he just kind of like whatever.
But it's funny, I had the same argument with the first movie. People saying like he wasn't Spanish enough in the first one. He was more, and now in the second one, he was like more Spanish. I think like
Sony said amnesia.
Don't worry about it.
I always remember in the comics, he just didn't like that his name was Miles Davis based off like the
singer.
That's what I always remember what it was. But like I remember in the first movie, people were saying like he wasn't Spanish enough. Like why were they ignoring the fact that the only Spanish came from his mother and like maybe 1 or 2 scenes. And then in this one, I noticed there was a lot more Spanish. And I also thought maybe it was just because he was like trying to like connect to Miguel. But Miguel really didn't speak that much Spanish to my recollection in the movie at all. So why is he doing that?
Nah, not really.
Yeah.
So it feels like it was more like pandering to a Spanish audience this time too. So I feel like maybe there's like no Spanish people in the room or something, in the writer's room or
something.
At the top of the line. It just feels like pandering to me.
When did the first one come out? Like 2018?
2018. Yeah.
That was like real height of Black Lives Matter stuff. Like that was like a lot of stuff was going on like in the black community at the time. So it could have 1000% been intentional. Like, yo, let's highlight his blackness. Right. A little bit. Lots going on.
or are they saying something else? You had, the blackified version of him, the Hispanic-fied version of him. But what is the true villain of both? A white woman. Like maybe that's really
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
So what's the common denominator here?
So look, in the third one, he gonna bring all his cultures together, and that's what's gonna make him Spider-Man. Look, that's why Spot. That's why Spot is a pasty white man. It's a metaphor, bro. It's a metaphor.
Are you telling me that like in the next movie, the next Spider-Man is about to be Logic? A biracial Spider-Man?
Yo, Logic, I'm calling it now. Logic 1000% is gonna have a song on the soundtrack for Beyond the Spider-Verse. I guarantee you.
Though both had no Spanish singers or any on either. Now, Metro Boot, no offense to any of them, because both soundtracks are amazing. Like, it doesn't matter to me.
That is
But
that's a good call out.
there's no Spanish singers of any kind are out of the soundtrack. So like
Not getting Bad Bunny for that seems like that was low hanging fruit. He on everything.
Exactly. Like,
it is like right there.
It's like Bad Bunny, Spider-Man. It just makes
Cardi
sense.
B on there. You know what I mean?
Right. Fact.
Shit, bring Don Omar back.
No diss to that, Yali, but Bad Bunny, isn't he playing a Spider-Man something?
El Muerto.
Yeah, so...
Oh yeah.
Like,
damn.
Low-hanging fruit, bro.
I wasn't even thinking about that. That fruit's on the ground. Just pick it up. Just pick it up and eat it.
The price tag might have been too high though. Bad Bunny.
Yeah, it might have. Nah, but I feel like Bad Bunny's like a super fanboy. I feel like he would have did that shit for
Bad
free. He's like, fuck yeah, I'll do that.
In every interview Bad Bunny has ever done, he's always mentioned like comic books. He loves that. And like
Benito would have signed up for that.
Did he just do a WWE?
Yeah, he just did a pay-per-view like a couple months ago.
He seemed like a nerd.
And wouldn't it be a part of his contract? Because this would have, like, if he's doing a Spider-Man villain, or offshoot character, that's Sony. That's not MCU. That's Sony. So they could have just been like, "Yo, this is part of your deal, bro. You want this movie to happen?
We need you.
I need a track. I need a verse. I need a verse
at least."
What
are you doing?
Something.
Yeah. Like
we could have just knocked on the next door, like, Benito, we need you real quick. Like,
where he was in the next studio. He was in the next studio. He's a
and that shit would have been fire. That shit would have been
facts.
So it is very weird how like that worked out. So yeah, I'm glad you picked it up because I wouldn't have noticed it until you said it. Like, it's just very weird that he's like there was more Morales in it when. Again, you had Oscar Isaac Hernandez Estrada over there, and yet he spoke no Spanish the entire film. Like,
right? Like, none of it.
What was the reason? Like,
right.
Where
are we going wrong?
It's funny that we talking about Oscar Isaac because there was a part in the movie, Yali, where I did think about you, and I was like, I don't think she's gonna be too pleased about this. Like,
go ahead and say it.
So. Harkening back to a panel that we had all did together covering Moon Knight, I remember a big point of convention to you was like the fact that they made Jake Lockley speak Spanish, and that was like his psycho killer persona, and why make that one Hispanic? So like Miguel Morales, I'm sorry,
Miguel Morales,
I'm combining characters. Miles Morales, they fused. The Miles as the Prowler had like a super thick Hispanic accent. And I was just like, Yali's not gonna like that. Like he had a super thick Hispanic accent. And I was like, interesting they made the bad one have the super thick Hispanic accent. I get from a storyline standpoint because his dad's dead, so he would have only been speaking to his mom a lot. Like that would have been wild. But it's just like, oh dang, they did it again. Like,
I don't understand.
They did it again.
I don't understand. But then that also meant that his uncle still stayed alive in that universe.
Yeah, he was in there.
Yeah, so why is he still super?
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, so he still should have could have had the same vocal.
He sounded like
vocal
Don
cadence.
Omar. I was like, what was the fucking point of that?
That's not Shameik Moore.
Are you serious?
It's not.
It's not
him.
Shameik. No,
oh shit!
It's Jarrell Jerome does the voice of that version of Miles.
Yep.
No idea. That's crazy.
That wasn't Shameik. So
he did a very good job of like emulating like his cadence and stuff. Like that's because I thought Shameik was just pulling doubles. I was like, my man getting 2 checks. Let's go.
That's what I thought too. Like, yo, this next movie he about to get paid.
Right.
For the people.
Totally different person. Now I ain't gonna front. Uncle Aaron still being alive is cool. I think we definitely know Uncle Aaron was trying to smash Rio. We know without a question.
1000%.
Like he came in and dropped the check or the
he's
bag
like, yo, get yourself something nice.
Yeah. I'm gonna make sure he takes care of this. Just keep doing that thing.
He said, I'm gonna sleep on the couch if you need me. I'll just be right out here, right outside your door.
Cool. He said, I'm not prowling in this multiverse. You know? this version of me ain't doing that.
You need me, mommy, right outside.
You know what I'm saying?
She sneezed in her room. He like, you called me? She like, no. He poke his head in. You okay? You okay?
There's no reason for the thick ass accent. There's still no reason. There's
I feel that.
The audible sigh in the theater was me. I was just like, Meanwhile, my kids loved it. They was like, "Oh, that sounds like our uncle." I'm like, "Yeah, but no."
Oh, that sounds like her uncle.
They loved it. They loved it. I didn't love it.
Yeah,
That was representation they needed. I didn't understand why I didn't need it. Like,
facts.
It's deep. It's deep.
I did love like that plot twist of him getting sent to the universe that his spider came from, like genetically. Because like I love like the super small part where the mom was just like, "What did you do to your hair?" And it was just like such a throwaway line. I was like, "That's weird." Like, that was weird.
You talk about small part. Her eyes are different colors.
Oh,
yep.
for real?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. In the negative verse, her eyes are green, and in Miles' universe, they're brown.
Yeah.
Oh.
Crazy. Didn't even pick up on that. Like, didn't even pick up
I mean,
on
I've
that.
seen it 3 times.
Oh,
So,
all right. Well,
I mean, I'm locked in.
My man deep dived on it. My man deep dived on it.
Yeah, me and Eric Voss, we going line by line.
We
When
shout out EA Boss on here all the time, bro. Look, we shout out New Rockstars all the time. Y'all don't have no anime content creators on New Rockstar. Come get us, baby. Come get us. Come get us. Like, we here.
Let me tweet him right now. Let me.
Yeah, I mean, we ain't gonna tell you not to. Look,
you need to do that.
I'll say that's Yali's old coworker from back in the day. You know, we trying to milk them connections. Network is how I got to be.
Trying to spend that way. Trying to build the Spider-Verse, okay?
Network is what I'm trying to build. But I want to pivot a bit because there's so much that we could talk about in this movie. There's so many things that we haven't touched. But I want to pivot a bit. And Trav, I want to get your opinion on it. Because we talked about all the Spider-Man. Tell us how you felt about Spot. Because I really fucked with what we ended up with, like from where he started. Like he literally had like Game of Thrones style character development all in the course of like 2 hours.
He did.
So my brother Cho told Trav, how did you feel about like the villain? I mean, was he the main villain? I don't even know. White privilege was the main villain of course. What were your takes on Spot, bro?
Well, I mean, like as you had said, like with the character development album, it was just I was taking it through where I'm like, you know what, like I did like the progression of it all, but I also I don't know why I'm blanking out right now, but it took a lot for me to like I enjoyed it. I did enjoy it, but I'm blanking out. I'm sorry. Back.
It's all good, bro.
Yeah, sorry.
No, I think when it comes to Spot though, as a catalyst, I think that's the thing. Spot is not the villain in this one. He's a catalyst. Yeah. And he will be more of a problem in the next one. Because where he is so prototypical. Again, as we joke, I mean, but there is something sincerely there about white privilege actually being the villain. This is a guy that worked for a criminal organization, knew that it was a criminal organization, actively worked there anyway, put the world, if not multiple worlds, at risk with the experimentation, and still had the audacity
to blame the black kid.
To blame the black kid, right? Like literally was like, damn. You did this. You did this. Not that
you went into work that day.
Yeah, like you hit me with a bagel. You also tried to shoot him. Like, let's look at the range here. Like, what is the scale of escalation? I hit you with a bagel. You put out like some sci-fi super futuristic gat and try to get me. Yeah, I hit you with a bagel. You lucky that's all I hit you with. And this whole time, like in this context of things, he immediately becomes a villain. Like that's a choice. Mm-hmm. And, you know, just as we saw with the situation where Miles and ultimately what this story is going to showcase is Miles could have easily chosen to be something bad, whether that's through Uncle Aaron's influence or whatever, just dismissal of his own dad. Like, you get on my nerves so much, I'm just going to do something opposite of you. Spot chose to be a villain. We first get introduced to him, and he's robbing an ATM machine.
That's
because
hilarious.
Right? Because like when you really look at it, you go, what are you robbing an ATM machine for? What is it that you want that you need to pay for, but you can't use like regular 9-to-5 whatevers to get the money to pay for it? If you're just going to take something, just take whatever it is that you wanted. Ultimately, why do you have to go get money in order to buy anything?
That's a good point.
Like, that's silly.
I didn't think about that. You just go steal the thing you need to pay for. Or even better, in a world you live in a universe with superheroes. Like, them skills could have went to work. You could have easily got picked up by somebody. Like, somebody would have drafted you. Like, oh, this can help us out. Yo, come on,
He reminded me of like when Frieza and Broly just wanted to use the wishes to only get 3 inches taller. And I was like, yo, my man, like you really like you really go rob an ATM machine, a bodega, like, and this is how you're utilizing the powers that you have right now. Like, I'm confused where your priorities stand, my man.
Completely. Well, you could have went to the bank, and
the Bank of America.
You would have been mad self-righteous, and I was like, no, you know that these fees that they're charging people, they're robbing you left and right. I'm going to do that.
Ain't the place where we like store gold in New York? Like, isn't that like the reserve or some shit? Yeah, like, isn't that like in New York?
according to Die Hard 3.
That's literally where my knowledge of that comes. 1000%. That's literally why I feel like it's in New York, because of Die Hard with the Vengeance, the best Die Hard movie, by the way.
Even the way he fought, he could have utilized his resources more. Like, shit, you could have took him to a 24-hour fitness and grabbed dumbbells, and then each one come through a hole and fuck him up like a 50-pound barbell or some shit.
Fact, though.
He didn't do anything well, and he just presumed that he deserved, because he had some form of trauma happen to him. Sir, you were responsible for everything that you were involved in. You chose to work at Alchemex, which was already a shady institution because it was run by Kingpin. You go to the Collider, which y'all know. You telling me that Kingpin didn't put out a memo that Spider-Man had showed up trying to stop this thing? So clearly,
hey, by the way,
you chose not to read your emails.
Little daily update. Spider-Man might be coming today.
He might be coming through. Which is weird because I know I killed him, but in the multiverse,
you know, evil's gonna evil.
So literally, like, this is like when him and Peter B are running through, everyone's like, it's Spider-Man. It's already been on the news that Spider-Man has died. Like, nobody freaks out and goes, is that a ghost? Is that like, nah, they're like, yep, let's kill him.
Mortals, listen up. It's your god of destruction, Beerus here. Subscribe and follow the Dragon Ball for Life podcast, or else you shall be erased from existence. Hakai.
Yo, you're a bad person. You're a bad person. And truthfully, as a spot, you're bad at being a bad person. That's what's wrong with you.
Facts. Like, how you suck at being evil, bro.
Right.
I love how that Spot is the same actor that played Polka Dot in the Suicide Squad. It's like he just picks characters who have like
just dots.
That's a different person.
Yeah, I was about to say. Isn't I thought Jason? I thought Jason Schwartz.
Jason Schwartzman.
Jason Schwartz.
I thought it was the same dude.
No, it's a different dude.
All white guys look the same.
Let's take it back on them.
Look, bringing it back. Like, everything's cohesive.
Yeah. No, Jason Schwartzman was in Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
Yeah, he's in a lot of stuff.
But they all look the same.
Yeah.
So I'm
Jason Schwartzman has like a very recognizable face. Like, if you saw, he's like, oh, that, you'd be like, oh, that guy.
No.
I'm doubling down.
You doubling down. I feel you. I mean, today is Juneteenth. Today is Juneteenth. We'll rep our set.
Y'all look alike. Now what?
Yeah, you know what's crazy? Like, total random 90s kid callback. But like, when Spot turned like evil, funny how when he's super bad, he turned all black. You know, just saying. You know, when he turned super
see what
bad.
They did there?
You see what they did? But it was when he turned all black and like started like talking all relaxed and cool for some random reason. Remember like when God came down in the Prince of Egypt and like smited Egypt and was like giving his little monologue? I was like, yo, he sounds like God off of the Prince of Egypt.
I know exactly what you're talking
You know
about.
exactly the scene when the breath that when the air was going through the kingdom, killing all the firstborns.
Yes.
I was like, yo, he sounds like God off of the Prince of Egypt. Like I couldn't get out of it. Like I was like, I'm gonna go home and watch the Prince of Egypt, yo, when I get back.
One, that is a dope movie. Like, let's not,
It's a classic. It's a classic.
Grew up on that.
Talk about
That
a
one-
beautiful soundtrack. Are you kidding me?
Man,
when you
what? Man, Heaven's Eye? Nigga, what? That shit was a bop, bro. But yeah, when he started talking, I started like busting out laughing in the movie theater. Like no one, I knew no one could share that joy with me. I was like, y'all not cultured. Y'all not cultured. But I love your thought, Vic, about him being the catalyst, because it's like, because he was in like mad promotional trailer, like the free clip you get before the movie. So I was like, oh, that's a throwaway scene. Like I looked at his scene the same way as like Homecoming, when he was stopping the bank robbers that were like wearing the Avenger mask. I was like, oh, this is just a funny aside to show Spider-Man at work, you know, dealing with small shit before shit hit the fan. So like for a Spot to have like gone through like, you know, like the whole movie just kind of is like an underplot, and then like, oh, he's basically Jesus now. He's all super doped up. I was just like, oh, I didn't see that coming. I thought my man was about to be a joke, like just like a running gag this whole time. I was like, nah, he about to fuck shit up. Like, he about to fuck shit up. He coming for your dad, bro.
Do you want to get even more into the meta commentary of the idea of, if, as he's described repeatedly, villain of the week, which means mediocre white guy just doing stuff, but look at the level of trouble that he creates for other variant minority individuals, how they have to work together to try to stop him. And even then, they can't. They, at best, can hold back what he's going to do. And, you know, that ultimately becomes a thing of what Miguel is talking about, which is, well, we can't stop it. Like, it's got to happen, and you just got to learn how to deal with it. Is that a meta commentary on being a minority in the U.S.?
Damn.
So
I'm sorry. I'm here.
So what you
Absolutely.
saying is, like, when the white man is just doing his day to day, it inconvenience us all.
even in mediocrity, even when they are a mediocre showcase of intent and ability, they can be a true hindrance to greatness from minority voices. Whether that is as black men, Hispanic men, women, across the board, this could be the situation. And further still, we'll still blame you for the inconveniences that they face in their own mediocrity.
Absolutely.
They must have had a diversity hire over at Sony who like slipped that in. They slipped that in.
And I was just thinking about it too, Vic, to what you had just said, was like Miguel in a way could be like a representation of that person that's been through a lot of shit in this world, but is still gonna try to look out for the better of his people, but at the same time is jaded to change. Almost like, well, this just has to happen, and like, you know, we have to, you know, like, I'm gonna make sure that we're good, but at the same time, like, we're already I've been on this uphill my whole life, and this shit has just been plaguing us for like, we're still gonna fight it, but at the same time, there's some shit that's just gonna have to happen for us to kind of try to progress forward.
I'm gonna put my Dr. Umar on for you.
Let's go.
Is the reason why. Listen, if I had one, I'll put it on. Is the reason why Miguel is that person is because Miguel himself is biracial and O'Hara is his last name. So while we keep focusing on the Hispanic nature of Miguel, his Scottish background is something else that speaks to a totally different voice, and that could be why he is conflicted with how he is approaching this situation.
Absolutely.
From a cultural standpoint, all of these things are true for him. All of them. You know, and, you know, there's aspects where he's like, well, I am a minority, but then there's other aspects that are like, not really, though. Not really.
He said kind of, but not really.
You know, like, you can say Hispanic, but does that mean Spanish? And if Spanish, am I more European? than I am Hispanic. Like, where exactly do I go
about
with
colonization,
that?
King?
Listen, bro, I'm like, look at what he did.
Colonizer. He's back.
So you're saying Miguel was in his Dr. Umar bat said, you are going to, this is probably what Dr. Umar said when he was watching the video, you are going to let the death of a brother in order to let the white society continue to thrive? Miguel, you are O'Hara. You are Michael O'Hara. You are not Miguel.
Michael O'Hara.
No, Mickey. You Mickey O'Hara.
Mickey O'Hara.
Mickey O'Hara over here.
Absolutely
Mickey. But yeah, I do question, any of that. I mean, but again, this is what I mean by this movie is so great, because where you are will bring about a certain perspective, and there's something interesting to that. Like, I think, in speaking of Dr. Umar, like he had some choice critiques about the presentation of a Miles Gwen relationship, and when it's presented in this movie, it's not just that Miles thought that Gwen was attractive. He felt simpatico with her. There was something about her that was like him. It wasn't that she was white, because not only is she white, she's older than him. So he felt something that was like, we're the same, and that's what I like about you. He didn't feel that way towards Penny, because Penny's a child. So like when he first sees Penny, no, you're a little kid. I'm not going to look at you with any sort of adult eyes. You got Peter Porker, who is a pig. So no, he's not going to jump at that. And the other two are guys. So he's very clearly attracted to Gwen, almost by a statement of lack of other. Right? Like if there was, and I say this because his interaction with Spider-Bite is borderline kind of the same interaction that he had with Gwen. Oh, you kind of like me. Like,
Facts. Facts.
So like in the next movie, if he hooks up with Spider-Bite and not Gwen, are we mad? Are we, like, where do you go with that? Is it, the presentation of something, and you automatically come through with your own intentionality where you're like, oh, they're going to have this black dude with this white girl? Or is this kid that has this strange experience, and she's the only person that he can relate to in that way that might understand what he's feeling?
I actually love that. So you two are actually two perfect people that I want to bring this up. So me and Trav had the pleasure of shout outs to Rafi Regulus. Shout outs to NYC Gamer Pride. As of this recording, their event happened yesterday. It was the very first LGBTQ community gamer event, Gamer Pride. First of many, manifesting first of many. We're actually going to have Rafi on later this week, and we're going to talk with them about how the event went. So we're super excited about that. But Rafi had brought up a really interesting point that they felt that very subtly, but they were painting Gwen as possibly being like trans or like gender fluid, gender neutral. And I kind of wanted to like get your guys' opinion on that. Rafi has said like, like a lot of Gwen's scenes, like the color was like blend, like color, bleeding together, a lot of like cross colors and whatnot, pastels like melting together. And, they were basically referencing like they felt that was like her internal identity crisis. And then kind of what we're talking about, like Gwen's feelings for Miles, like clearly there's something there. They don't really like go as far. More in the first movie, they kind of was like, oh, y'all have a crush on each other. And now kind of in the second one, I feel like it was more like, oh, Miles likes Gwen. Gwen's dealing with real life shit. She don't got time for feelings right now. But like, but I like Rafi's point was like, oh, it could be more as to, like she's conflicting against, like, oh, hey, like I am attracted to this boy, but I don't really know if that's really my steez. I don't really know who I see myself as. And then the fact that she's trying to like figure out her own identity while managing a secret identity, while her dad is on the hunt for her. Like, when does she have time to like sit down and reflect? But I wanted to know like because I didn't pick up on it. And when Rafi had brought it up, me and Trav, I don't think Trav had seen the movie at that point. So I guess, Trav, this is when you reacting to this the first time as well. Did you guys kind of pick up on that? Or like, what's your thought processes? Processes? What's the plural for process?
So I noticed that, Spider-Gwen or Ghost Spider, which they never use Ghost Spider.
I was about to say.
Even though I think Ghost Spider is dope as fuck.
I think that's a way better name than Spider-Gwen, but we here.
They always use, pastel white. Well, white is always going to be white, but the pastel blue and the pastel pink, which is the same color for the trans flag. But it was more noticeable. Yes.
Yeah, no idea.
They use it more so in this film than they did in the first one, especially like in the scenes where like what I've been up to, and in the scenes where Gwen is in her room. You can see a lot of that.
And like the colors like dripping down the wall.
Dripping down and stuff too. I would say it's not lost on me that the film came out during Pride Month. I think a lot of things are very intentional. However, I will say that it also is not lost on me that Warner Media chose to change the date of The Flash to come out at the same time as this film. Not to say it has anything with gender, but they both have similar plots with time. I'm pretty sure you already saw Vic, right? So you seen The Flash show.
Yep.
Okay, so maybe we could talk later. I have feelings.
I pirated it. So I'll see it. For the culture. I pirated it for the culture.
But anyways, like I said, it's not lost on me that they chose to release this film during Pride. I agree with Raffi that I do believe that Gwen might be dealing with an identity, feelings about what their identity is. But superheroes have always been an allegory for identity. Specifically the X-Men. The X-Men have always been a kind of like a metaphor and allegory for the LGBTQ. At the time, it was more so like homosexuality, just because there are people with talents who love that are different, and society refuses to acknowledge them or see them as the bad guy. So it's not a new concept in any form. But I like that if that's what their intention is, I like that they're doing it now when there are so many legislations against that are trying to take away the rights for like trans children. And I think that's what this movie is kind of like trying to maybe speak to kids and teens, like whatever you're going through, it's a real thing that happens, and it's like it's okay, like it's totally normal to question who you are and that what your identity is, but you're still special and you're still loved, and you know, people out there will love and support you. I do think that in this universe that Gwen is trans. I think there's things that in the first film that kind of hint at it. I think there are things in the second film that hint at it, not just the coloring, but there's some choice things about Gwen's style, clothing, hairstyle, some of the ways that Gwen talks. There's certain words that Gwen used that are not necessarily totally like cis female. And I say that as someone who identifies as queer, even though I identify as a cis female, but also identify as queer. And so like there's certain terminology that I don't say as just like a straight woman. So for me, it's like, oh, I see what you did there. I see what you did there. But again, you don't never want to like push some identity on someone else at the same time. You just kind of want to sit back and look at the context clues and go, okay, maybe not. However, I do think that Sony would be dumb as fuck if they outright said that Gwen is trans, because they know that would hurt their film. So in this situation, right, I think everything would have to be kind of like tongue-in-cheek in order to like make sure that they get their money, because this movie outperformed the first one by like miles.
Leaps and bounds.
By miles.
Did it?
I see you. Good job.
Davis or Morales? Which one?
By both.
both. But Big, before we get to you, Trav, I want to get to you next, just because you had a very unique perspective where Raffi had brought that up after I had seen it. So it's just like hindsight thing. But Trav, we as non-spoilery as we possibly could had referenced it before you had seen it. So you had the unique perspective. It was like you kind of knew what to look for. Like how did that Raffi's theory sit with you, you know, having heard it before you saw the movie?
Yeah, well, I think it also it tied to the conversation that we also had about how these versions of superheroes that our kids, their nephews are going to be watching, and how I wish that I had a Black Spider-Man that I could really look up to and be like, oh, that's my superhero. And then within that conversation, we also were talking about how bringing these themes into these movies will then put these topics on the forefront that'll now have parents that maybe were hoping, oh, we're going to wait until a later part of their life to kind of discuss these sort of topics of the world with them, when you don't know if your child could be internally dealing with these issues at a young age. And for me personally, whenever I become a parent, I want to be able to have my kid feel comfortable within their own skin. And if the world outside may not accept them just yet, at least in the comfort of their own home, the people that love them the most as a parent, we accept them. And having those conversations early at an age where kids are just soaking up information like a sponge, and it really is going to sit with them for the rest of their lives. I think it's good that, and like Yali said, tongue in cheek to the kind of enough just to, kind of spark the way that they might be thinking, and how it'll, as a parent, okay, well, let's talk about some things that, maybe you're internally thinking about that you don't necessarily feel comfortable talking about with your friends, or if you don't even, or you're afraid that, you could be disappointing me in some weird way, which wouldn't be the case. So I think that, watching the film and having that in the back of my head, it was refreshing and nice to see that, okay, you know what, a movie that has grossed so much money, so much revenue, so much success, but all right, let's get to it. There's things that, we can't just brush under the rug and just be like, oh, well, they're too young to think of these way. They don't know what how are you going to tell someone, this is how I feel? No, you don't feel that. You're not this. Well, then they're just going to bottle that in even more. And you're already working at a disadvantage in this world. And for me, I just want when I have a kid, for them to just fully be able to have the tools necessary to not only just, combat the, we have talked about, the uphill battle we're working in, but also just, be yourself. I'm going to love you how I want to love you and how you want to be loved. And I don't want, and the fact that now we have superheroes who we already look at as a different lens. Now it's oh shit, I can relate to this hero even more than I thought I could. So I think it allows even more, the phrase of let the kids be kids. I think it adds a different level to that as well.
Beautifully said. Snaps.
Yeah, that is
all around.
Yeah, absolutely.
Snaps all around. Snaps on. Well, Vic, I saved you for last, as somebody who's deeply ingratiated in comics, what was your take on that? With, the lore and if that wasn't applied, how'd you feel about it?
So I'm always hesitant because the first time I saw that was someone talking about the aspect of colors and how the colors are representational of ... And I'm always super sensitive of that. Growing up as a Black teen in the 90s, color delegations was a dangerous thing for us growing up, right? So you wear too much red, you blood. You wear too much blue, you crip. And that can get you hurt, if not killed, right? So I'm always super hesitant to give full credence of color designation as a determiner for someone's identity. I've seen too many times where people have gotten killed because it was wrong. And so I'm not keen on that. But I do agree to Yali's point that it should not be something that Sony comes out and confirms nor deny. I don't think that they should do either one, because in the true reality of life, until someone determines it for themselves, it's not for someone else to tell you this is, oh, I think this. Let them be who they're going to be. And it also speaks to, again, what I said from the beginning, the majesty of this movie is what you bring to it is what you will see. So me not necessarily being a transgendered individual, I'm not going to see the key points that might ring true to that. Doesn't mean that it's not there. It just means that it doesn't speak to me because that's not what I'm bringing to the table. What I will say is key things that I think would be kind of a responsible thing not to do, to not make Gwen openly trans, because what we don't want to say is, here's the track for how you get there. Her mom isn't there. She's raised by a dad. Mm-hmm. So if you're a girl that's raised by a dad, you're probably, that's not a fair statement. So let's not do that if we've already established certain key markers that people will use as, oh, well, this is how you become trans. Stop doing it. Like that's not okay. That's a great point. Almost in a way of a literal form of neutrality, you have the most representation possible because you're not saying that it is, but you're certainly not saying that it's not. On multiple levels, though, on the pro trans side, what I would have loved if that was the case, the one person that she felt comfortable enough to tell that to was Miles. That's ultimately why I say I don't think that she is, because as they were lamenting what their lives are and how people expect this and that of them, she arguably would be in the safest place possible with a guy who clearly adores who she is as an individual, who only met her for a short while, a week. And she's lived in his head rent free for that entire year. If there was something that she felt she needed to get off her chest to anybody, I think it would be him, particularly because as she understood it, she was never going to see him again. So even if this was a matter of I dropped this bomb on him, like I just got to say this to somebody and then I'm out. Yeah, that could have been her way of doing so. And because she didn't do that, I'm going to go ahead and say that I don't think she is trans, but I'm not going to take away the experience of visibility for anyone that sees a simpatico in that. That's the point of Spider-Man. Anyone can be, Spider-Man. So if that's the case, that's the way it's supposed to be. It's not about me saying for sure, one way or the other, if you see you, then they've done their job, because that is the true essence of Spider-Man. That's I think that's the most important thing. And if you want to see that, don't necessarily look for corporate entities to build that for you. Mm-hmm. Empower yourself to be that voice that you want to see. I think that is the most important thing, period, of the great power, great responsibility. If you want the responsibility of being seen, take the power to make sure that you are, as opposed to asking someone else to do it for you. That's part of what will make us a unified species, really, where it's not a matter of, oh, you trans, you're not. I can take care of me, you take care of you, and collectively we will take care of each other, and now we're better. We're all better.
Only on Dragon Ball for Life can you click on an episode thinking you get in a Spider-Verse breakdown, and then you get life sermons in this. Only here.
Because I think what we all said is that.
If you want me to bring it back, I could talk about how isn't it weird that they make the cat like shoot out white stuff? Isn't it an allegory for vaginas? There you go. You just brought it all back. You're welcome.
To bring it back.
Wait, and where did it hit? Did it hit in the mouth?
Hit him right in the mouth. Right in the mouth.
Okay. We're heating up.
So we're heating up. The best way.
Welcome.
To get the cat to do. Okay.
They try to say the best way to get a man to shut up is throw pussy at him. We are way more deep, emotionally intelligent beings than that. Sony.
You're welcome.
No.
Go back over to your internet that didn't let you record. Hush. Don't be telling our secrets out here. We got put on for this. You're right.
That's not for children. That's for the Republican audience.
You're right. But to
look,
the range. But to bring it back to what Vic was saying, I don't think so. When we were talking about like the gripes that we had with like Gwen's character arc and how she just like kind of just like kept fucking up, my biggest gripe is so much of that movie could have been avoided had she just had a conversation with Miles. So much of that movie had she just been like, yo, this is what I've been doing. This is why you can't come. I mean, I came to see you because like you my dog, you my best friend. Right. I love you. I might try to peek my head in on you from now and again, but you can't come with me, bro. Like
this is the situation.
Isn't that like life though? Like a lot of things could be resolved through a conversation.
And then I know like she was there to like chase after Spot and check out the anomalies and everything, but I was just like, you're part of a team that can navigate, you know, the multiverse, the timeline. So like you choosing to drop in on Miles, like when he's super frustrated with his life, of course he's gonna want to leave with you. Like you went and saw him at the worst possible time.
And dude literally told you, I'm grounded. Yeah. You gonna push the button like, right. Is Spider-Man grounded?
Yo,
why are you doing this to me?
Right, like you literally are like enticing him to uproot his life, but you know he can't come. Like you know that his dad has to die for him to go on this path. You know that Miguel's gonna say, "No, he can't come," and you still show up. You could have just had it. Look, but to what Vic was saying, because she was like basically lying to him, and she like kept lying. Like even when Miles would start to like put two and two together, she'd be like, "Oh no, that's not it," and then he would like, "Bitch, you just lied to me again."
again.
Like kept lying. So I don't know if she would have like opened up to him.
Let's keep that in mind.
Well, look, we was gonna get there next. But before we get into all the excellence that is Hobie Brown, I did want to speak to something that you had kind of referenced to me, Vic, when we had talked about it. We had talked about, you know, like this movie hits on so many emotional levels, like across the board, like whether it's, you know, like race representation, you know, sexuality, this, that, and the third. But a part that I want to speak to you specifically about is because like we're both fathers, you know, 3 of the 4 of us are parents. Trav's a fur parent. He's a parent too. That counts. Rainey's a full-time job.
He love that baby.
Right, he do love that baby. Rainey's a full-time job. So we're all parents here. But you have the unique perspectives. You have a son, correct? You have daughters and a son as well?
I have 3 sons, 2 daughters.
Well, there you go. My man been working hardest working man in comics. You know what I mean?
That's right. That's literally why.
But I want to speak to you about like the through line of like Miles' relationship with his father, especially like that scene when he was having the conversation with Spider-Man and talking about, you know, like letting your son spread his wings and like he'll always come home and everything. Like as a father, having sons, how did that content, that scene, just like that plot thread, like how did that connect with you as a dad with sons?
I'm gonna tell you right now, those are the things where I realize I'm old. Because like, okay, so there's this thing. If you go back and you watch 80s movies, right? And 80s movies, for the most part, are all through the lens of the kid, right? And you, like growing up, you agree with the kid. You're like, absolutely, like, why can't I be free? Da 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 da. When you go back and you watch them, and you start hearing the things that the parents are saying, you go, actually, they were right the whole time. That becomes even bigger, where what I've dealt with, especially because my sons are 20, 19, and 17. So they are in that space where Miles is, where Miles wants more, right? He wants to be able to do more. He wants to be able to make his own call. And the truth is, even though he can do things that his father can't, there are things that his father has experienced that Miles hasn't, and that Jefferson is trying to avoid for him, which is always the rough part of being a parent. There are things that you absolutely wish you could jump in front of and keep from happening to your kid, but the truth is you can't, because if you do, and this kind of speaks to a little bit of spoilers for Flash, if you stop the kid from experiencing some of those hardships, they will not necessarily turn out as well as you want them to. Because the truth of the matter is, my job as a father is to make sure that when I'm gone, my children can take care of themselves. That is my job, right? Like, literally it. And that's what Jefferson is talking about. Every time my kid does something really smart, then he turns around and does something stupid, where I'm like, is it me? Am I messing up? Am I not doing this right? Have I not provided for him the right things that he needs? Like, is it me? This is the plight of fatherhood and parenthood overall. But I can speak as a father. Those are the things that become the hefty conversation points, especially when you involve yourself in a world where you recognize that it will be disproportionately unfair to you as a black man. These are conversations that I have with my sons. Like, I've had the conversation with their moms, plural, let me say it like that, that what they can't teach them is how to be successful young black men because you're not that. You've never been a young black man. So there's a certain context that is off limits to you just because you don't have the experience for it. You can build what you would like to have in a mate and a partner, things that you would have wanted, but it's not the same thing as if you are walking in these shoes and this is what this is like. And those are contextual things that Jefferson was saying. And I'm like, yep, I get it. Because as much as we ride with Miles, we love Miles, we want to be Miles, there's a lot of times Miles is wrong. Miles is, in fact, lying to his parents. Even when it comes multiple times, he has the opportunity to tell the truth, and he second guesses what he thinks will happen when he tells them. And he has no reason to second guess that. And what have they ever done where they've been like, what, you're Spider-Man? Get out. Like, that's not happened at all.
Yeah.
In fact, what was it? In the first movie, the setup was, you're making me go to this school, and his dad is like, I want you to have a better opportunity than I had. You have a skill set. It's not that I just want you to go to school. You had to test in. You had to prove that you could do it. So you have a power, and we're going to force you to utilize this power to the best of your ability. That's what we're going to do. You telling me that he reveals that he's Spider-Man, and they're not going to be like, bet, do that, right? Like, that's because Jefferson's whole thing of Spider-Man is he's not doing it to the fullest level of responsibility. He's wearing a mask. He's not trained. He's not certified. He's doing all these things just on the fly. No, like, my guys, we actually have to prove that we can do this. He just does it. That's not cool. Miles would have a very different conversation if he just told his parents who he was.
It's funny how so much of DC lore is, a secret identity is key because it protects your loved ones. Like, it keeps them safe. Like, if they know who you are, they're going to try to get to you through them. But so much of Marvel is bad shit happens because they don't tell their loved ones like what they're doing.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like, had you just told me, we could have avoided all of this.
I would have been like, oh yeah, no,
that's dope as fuck.
Yeah.
I thought you were doing drugs. Like, this is so much better.
You telling me you're Spider-Man?
This whole time I thought you was trapping. This is amazing news.
Thank you.
Busting out the bando.
Well, sitting here going to therapy trying to figure out where I went wrong as a parent.
And you out here saving, you catching buses with kids in it. I did really good.
Look at me.
Look at me.
Look, that's $500 a week in my pocket now. Fuck this therapy. Like, I'm doing a great job.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm doing a great job. But we had referenced it because I want to cover a couple more things before we get up out of here, because I could talk to you guys all day about all things. It'd be like a 6-hour podcast episode. The commitment from the listeners, right? It's just we just hit record, just let it just run, it never stops.
Let it rock.
People just chime in, just hop in when you feel like it's double dutch, yo. Just jump in.
Yeah, Harris making dinner and shit, like
yo, you can leave for 3 days.
He said yesterday, that was a really good point, though. I just want to point that one.
Like, you can leave in 3 days and come back, we're still recording. Like, we're still going. It's just a continuous live stream. Like, it's our version. It's avant-garde. It's just not a non-stop podcast episode. But the last couple of things we got to talk about Hobie Brown. We have to. The GOAT, the G, the God. We got to talk about Hobie Brown. So we're gonna talk about Hobie a little bit, and then if we take Hobie, so think about it now. If we take Hobie, Miles, Gwen, and Miguel off the board, who was your favorite character in the movie? So think about that, and then we'll just do final thoughts on the movie, and we'll do predictions on what we think Beyond the Spider-Verse is going to be. So Vic, I'm gonna start with you, I hope, because me and you talk about, because I'm a big Spider-Punk fan. He's probably one of my more favorite Spider-Men. So, and he's always been one. And I remember you had said to me, he's like, you fuck with Spider-Punk? And I was like, hell yeah. He's like, how much you thought you loved him, you're gonna love him infinitely more. And I was like, I kind of like him a lot, but all right, we'll see. And man,
I promise you.
Going into that movie, I was like, and it's crazy because it's like, you know, they refer to him as Hobie, which like in the comics isn't, I know that's his nickname, but like they don't really call him Hobie Brown, like in the Spider-Punk comic. So like when they kept talking about Hobie, low hanging fruit, but I was like, who the fuck is this Hobie character? And then like when he came in, I was like, oh, Hobie Brown, my fucking Hobie Brown, like let's go. But ain't fucking Daniel Kaluuya, man, like, having him be the voice actor. Chef's kiss.
Fire. Absolute fire.
So I want to, because again, you told me, you was just like, however much you thought you loved him, you're going to love him infinitely that much more. And you were right. You were right. Yes. To the point that I'm looking up Hobie Brown tattoos. Like it's a thing, bro. So when I get it, just know you were responsible for that, bro. So like, talk to us about like, you know, the impact that character had on you in the film.
Oh my God. What I loved the most about Hobie was his comfort being a contradiction. Like, there was nothing about him that, as he said, I don't like consistency. So he's going to do.
He's like, aren't you in a band? I also hate consistency.
I hate consistency. He is the dude that will not be trapped by his circumstance or situation. His identity is whatever he wants. He's just that wide open to being. And I think that's the thing that, in low key, I feel like if there's anybody that should be the flag, and I use that term like literally, the flag for LGBTQ plus people would be Hobie, because Hobie could say he's down for whatever, and no one would question him. Like no one. Mm-hmm. Hobie is the quintessential pansexual individual. He's like, yeah, nah, I thought it was cute. I wanted it, so I did it. Does that make you gay? No, I don't like labels. Like he's that dude. He's like, I just felt like doing it, so I did it. Was it cool? Yeah, I liked it, so I'm gonna do it again. Like he's that literal with his fluidity of living. Like it's not even a matter of identity. You know, he's just, that's me. You know, I'm a part of this group, but I look at this group and I go, you know, I really don't like what y'all do. So I'm only gonna be here long enough to do what I want to do within this group. If that's getting a couple parts and pieces, so I can do what you're doing in my own way, because I don't like the way you do it, then that's what I'm gonna do. And I dare you to be mad about it. What are you gonna say? Like, because he's one of the few persons that didn't answer to Miguel, like in any way, shape, or form. Like you had Hobie, you had Jess, you had Peter B. Everyone else answered to Miguel. Like those three were like, I'm gonna do what I want, and you know you can't stop me. Like I think Miguel knew if he had to throw hands with Peter B, he would lose. Whether that's because Peter B has so much experience or the fact that he's a Peter and Peters will always beat you. But when it came to Jess and Hobie, nah, he didn't want that smoke because they brought too much. Thanks. And Hobie didn't care. Hobie would be like, yeah, I might kill you because that's what I'm feeling in the moment. That's what I feel like I need to do. Do I think Hobie and Gwen hit it? Yes, absolutely.
Oh, 1000%. Yes. But it was casual as fuck. It was casual as fuck. Yeah.
It was super casual. Let's keep it a million. She pegged him. Like we know that's what happened. Yali shake your leg.
She pegged him and stole his chucks. Like that's wild, yo.
And I'm gonna tell you what makes that so bad. What makes that so bad is she didn't steal his chucks. She went and got a pair like his, and that's what he's actually saying. Like you took my chucks. Like y'all wasn't rocking chucks like this outside of my universe, and so now you just gonna rock chucks like that?
Like some T.O. chucks. That's what you're doing.
That's what we doing.
Okay.
That's what we doing. That's cute.
I love that. That is crazy because I thought I took it literal. Like, oh, she like took his chucks, but y'all like she swagger jacked him.
Yeah, like, he's calling her out on the fact that you biting my style. Like, why are you biting my style? Those are my chucks. Like, what are you doing? And
it's crazy that you talk about Hobie being like, you know, like fluid and pansexual and just like, yo, I do what I want. I don't know if this was done intentionally or if it was an accident or what came first, the chicken or the egg. But with Metro Boomin being so heavily involved in this project, I 1000% felt like Hobie was Young Thug. like just temperament wise, character design, temperament. I was like, oh, that's Thug. Like, because like your whole thing, like Hobie was just like, oh, I bought this because it's cute. So what if it's a dress? Like, I liked it. It's fire on me.
I liked it. What do you like?
That's Free Thug, unless he did it.
Yeah.
And never mind.
You know what I'm saying? Hey, that's the most wholesome. That's the most wholesome perspective. Free dude, unless he did it. Like,
free, I mean,
if he ain't do it, let him go. But if he
ain't do it, free my man, y'all. Free my man.
Mike, you gonna go back to the episode, and if he did it, he just
clip that out. Yeah. just impose like a don't in front of it. Don't Free Thug. Matter of fact, I'm gonna say don't free Thug, and then if he did it, put that there. And Mikey gonna do a lot of editing with this episode. Look, it's like with Kev. If you ask him why the multiverse saga's been so messy, it's the multiverse, bro. It's part of it. It's part of the theme. Amnesia. But he reminded me of Thug, and I loved it. Like I identified like so much with that character. Like I was just like, oh, that's my guy. That's my spirit animal. Like I'll fuck with him. I'll fuck with him. 100%. But Yali, but I see you co-sign a lot of it to tell us, and I know as a fellow a rebellious soul on the DB4L podcast, a fellow wild stallion, if you will. Tell us what Hobie meant to you. Not you trotting along. That's the real for this episode, Mikey.
I've always loved Spider-Punk. And again, I think out of all the characters, I think Hobie was the one who's remained purest to my memory of him. He definitely got pegged, and he was definitely with it. I don't even think there was lube involved. He definitely just took that shit.
Because that's the punk way to do it.
That's the way to do it.
You spit on it, and it was good.
The weird thing is, like, the music in the background was probably like Sade. Like it wasn't even like 9 Inch Nails. It was just Sade in the background.
It was 1,000% Sade.
It's not like you would think like it's 9 Inch Nails or it's Korn. No, it was Sade.
I'm gonna tell you what makes her so bad, Kelly. He was like, "You a drummer?" And she's like, "Yeah." He's like, "So you got rhythm?" And she's like, "Yeah." He's like, "Prove it." And that's when he busts out.
1,000%.
You got rid of him.
Nah, Trav, it was a wild playlist of Sade and St. John. It was 1,000% a playlist. It was Sade and St. John, bro. With some Lenny Kravitz sprinkled in there, a couple Lenny hits, couple Lenny hits.
Oh my god,
American Woman.
No, he ain't have Seal on the list, but he definitely had Kiss from a Rose was in the playlist. It was definitely he led with that. He led with Kiss from a Rose. It's definitely a punk rock cover.
On my playlist.
Look, I think everybody has Kiss from a Rose on their playlist.
Like, if you don't, is it a playlist? Like,
right? Are you really listening? Are you music in the right way? If that song ain't on there,
I love. Like I said, I've always loved Spider-Punk. I love how Daniel Kaluuya did Hobie such justice. I love how, again, like you said, between Hobie, Peter B, and Jessica Drew, they were literally the polar opposites of Miguel, but also these kaleidoscope versions of the hope that Miguel used to have. Is how I looked at it. Maybe that that's how Miguel used to be. Like you said before, all of taking on this mantle of being the leader. But like I said, I really love Hobie just being I do whatever I want, however I want to do it, whenever I feel like doing it. I could definitely see Miguel you got this mission, and Hobie being yeah, I'll do it if I feel like it, or
I'll get around to it.
I'll get to it when
So are you mad, bro? Telling me what to do. Why you mad, bro?
Not my yard. But
he said, "Are you having a laugh? Are you having a laugh?"
And I like that he brought something different to the film, which is the film had a lot of heaviness. I felt, which is another reason why I felt it was really hard, at least for me as an adult, to get into the film because it was so heavy at times, and he brought this lightness that the film needed a lot of the time. So I just enjoyed it so much, and I really liked the everyone knows him and Gwen are fucking, but nobody will say it. You know what I mean? Everybody knows.
Unspoken truth.
Yeah,
it's an unspoken truth.
It's why? And Miles is what? And everybody's just I'm not gonna say anything about it.
I love the part where he was just like, "How many sweaters do you have?" Like, he was just like, "Yeah, you left your jumper at my house, Mike." He's like, "What's a jumper? It's a sweater. How many sweaters do you have?"
Why you just leaving these in different places?
Like, where you just multiverse, just leaving your shit. Just look at the white woman placing her claim, colonizing, placing her claim on all these different universes, just leaving sweaters like this is mine. She said, look, she said, "Look at me. I am the captain now." Put her sweater down on somebody's house.
Union Jack and where's Spider from? Think about it.
Okay.
That's deep.
Okay.
That's deep.
I see what
And
you did
also,
here.
speaking of tattoos, Rodney is trying to do a Spider
out to
Punk
Rod.
tattoo on a discount. So if you really
Oh, word? Hey, look. All
Um,
right, say less.
yeah, no, I think Hobie's great. I think out of all of the characters, I could see them trying to do like a solo film with just him.
They
and
have
I can
to.
definitely see like the LGBTQIA community like really embracing him, and like you're gonna see like the next couple of drag shows, people dressed up as Hobie.
Oh, man.
Oh, so much
I've
sweat. All the
already
Hobie
seen
cosplay.
some, like,
All the Hobie cosplay.
cosplays already from the LGBTQ community dressed up as him. So like I'm just like really excited that like this character from like back in the day that represented one thing is now totally taking on a new life. And I think like that's what the character itself, like I think that's what Hobie would have wanted. Like to just be this, just be this, like be punk. And I think that's what it is. Like to be punk is to represent the people who are marginalized, who don't get their shine, who are underrepresented, and who speak to the little guy or whatever, and like to now be to be this like gay icon. I think that's exactly what the fuck Hobie would have wanted. So like
He don't do labels, remember? He's just Hobie.
He don't do labels, but at the same
he's just an
time,
icon.
like,
He's just
I
Hobie,
think-
baby.
and so I'm excited.
Just
I'm mad I
Hobie,
can't
baby.
pick him as my favorite character, but I already have someone in mind. So I'm excited for. I know this. I already know they already got shit planned for him. Like if they didn't before, the writers' room is already out there fucking writing shit. So like,
Absolutely.
He's
the next
1,000%.
year, you already know.
Yeah, he's 1,000% way more integral to the next one. Like,
Yeah.
He's gonna be in the live thing too.
It's the Jack Sparrow effect. Like when Jack Sparrow was in there, he was just like a side character.
True.
Like you were a vehicle to get Will Turner to be the hero, and Johnny Depp did such a good job. I was like, oh, this is your franchise now.
Facts.
Like, our
Look
bad.
at me. I am Captain Jack.
I am the
That's-
captain.
I am the captain. Literally.
So before we get our
Without
favorite
question.
characters, I do. Oh, you said you had a question? Did I?
No. That's without question.
Oh, without a question. Gotcha. So we talk about this in jest, but it's also very serious. Like one of my favorite things about Trav is that, a lot of people who like meet him, like, oh, he's a very even keel. Good. He got a good head on his shoulders. Like very even
So
keel.
Pastor Velocity comes on, and then he's really
You see where I'm going with this. But I wanted to get Trav's take on Hobie because it's like, I know Trav personally, and we actually like each other in real life. This isn't just for a podcast. So it's like,
care too much about friendship.
I know, apparently,
Yeah,
I care
right,
too much
Lolly?
about our friendship. But I want to get Trav's take. It's just like a lot of people, like I said, like kind of know Trav is just like, the mild mannered Clark Kent, of the group. And this, that, there. It's always, there goes Madigan causing trouble. But it's just like, no, when Trav's turned up, he's turned the fuck up. Y'all don't be knowing.
Can confirm.
Like, it take a lot to ruffle that man's feathers, but when they get ruffled, boy, do they get a ruffling. But Trav, before we move on to everybody's favorite character outside of the obvious choices, what was your take on Hobie's inclusion in the movie?
Yeah, it's funny you say it. When you were naming all of like our people that we can't name as our favorite characters, and I couldn't name Hobie. I was like, all right, well then shoot. But like,
I feel like everybody would have just said Hobie. I had to take him on the board. Yeah.
It's like I loved like his demeanor throughout everything. Like it was because the way that I like to like operate through life is just like there's a lot of like stressful shit that's going to happen to us, and like the reason why I guess people would say like I'm so even keel is because like I like to like analyze things in a way of like, look, if this ain't something that's important to the core values of my life, then I'm like, I'm not going to put that energy towards it. And in a way, I kind of like resonated with Obi in that way, because it's like, look, like we've all been saying, he's so fluid in what he wants to do and how he wants to maneuver in life. And so, and which is so funny, because like we're dealing with multiversal catastrophe, and he's
amnesia.
Still like, do what you want to do, mate. but I did like love how, like, especially towards the end of the movie, how like he wanted to in his own way put that sort of like thinking onto Miles as well, because in the moment that he was like so conflicted, what he was trying to do is like, look, like do what you want to do how, and it sounds such a simple and like you could say cliche phrase, but in moments, people really need to sometimes take a step back and just really do what the fuck you want to do. Because at the end, like sometimes, you could end up, unintentionally hurting people in the process. But if it's something that is inherent to what you believe is right for what you want to do, and your intentions are good, and everybody knows that like you're not in this to fuck things up, then you just sometimes just have to move to that accord. And I think that for Hobie, that's like just his life mantra. And so I think that just seeing that same persona, same demeanor throughout the whole movie, when he first appeared, I was just like, look, I fuck with him heavy. Like this is my guy. Now I got to think about a different character that could be my favorite, but that's all right.
You got it,
but
bro.
and then just my my infatuation with anything UK right now.
I was about to say Hollow Man gigs.
Yeah. So I'm like, yeah.
Right.
And but like I just like also just being on this podcast as well, because I am not as well versed in the Spider-Man lore and comics. So like, but like just hearing the context behind Hobie just makes me love the character even more.
And it's funny because I don't know if this was meant to receive like what he was trying to teach Miles, but it's funny how like in the first Spider-Verse movie, Peter B. Parker, the reoccurring lessons was like just let go, like just learn how to let go. And it's like physical and metaphorical, like just let go was like the lesson. But with Hobie's lesson, it was just like, don't just use your fingerprints, like use your palms. And I took that as just like, yo, just go all in. Like, don't be tentative, don't be timid, don't just use your fingerprints for the electric, use your palm. And that came up twice.
For the whole thing.
Just if you're gonna do it, just do it. So I thought that was crazy how like the lesson for him to learn last time was like, yo, like letting go, like it's gonna be what it's gonna be, like life happens, to us, not for us. You just figure it out. But it's like this one is just like now, like no, like don't be scared. Like if you're gonna do it, stand behind your decision and do that shit. Which kind of went along with like the motif with the conversations with his dad, like what you were saying, Vic. Like Miles is growing up, like he's coming into his own as not only like a teenager, but also like as a superhero. And he ain't like the Miles from like the main canon universe who has a Peter. Like it's just him. Like he is Spider-Man. Like he don't have that mentor no more. Like his mentors like don't live in his universe. They kind of pop in and out here and there. So like having Hobie being like that, just do it, bro. Don't be scared. Like it's just jump. Like just go. Right. Like just do it.
Yeah. Take that leap.
Fucking Hobie Brown. Goddamn. What a gem. What a gem. All right, so we'll go through favorite character, favorite moment from the movie, and then like our just final predictions. And for the predictions, for the sake of time, and I know that when we be saying shit, we really be manifesting what actually be happening. We'll just have Vic and Yali give our predictions. I feel like somehow it's gonna end up in the movie, coincidentally.
Yeah.
All right. So taking off the board, we're taking Hobie, Miles, Gwen, and Miguel off the board. Who was your favorite character? Yali, if you want to go first.
My favorite character is I'm just gonna go with Spider Cat. I can't for all the reasons why you would think.
No, I figured. I was with you when you said it. I understand.
And just because it's just funny, and like I always try to think about like what would be the reason why that cat had to like become Spider Cat. Like who died for Spider Cat to be Spider Cat? Was it like another cat? Was it their owner? Was it a dog? I just want to know all the reasons why Spider Cat is Spider Cat. And this is it's just fucking funny. Like, and I really want to, I forget what it was called. I know what it's called when it's DC. Maybe you can remind me, Vic, like when it's like the Super Pets, but like what's Marvel's version of the Super Pets?
They have Pet Avengers.
That's what's called.
Yeah.
I'm ready for it at this point. And now that I've seen Spider Cat, like Panda Pool, I want Panda Pool, and like I just want it all. Like I'm ready at this point for it.
Yeah. No, I like that.
All right, Vic. Favorite character that's not Miles, Gwen, Miguel, or Hobie?
It's Mayday Parker.
She is great.
I forgot about the baby.
Yeah,
that's who I was gonna go with.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
There's something amazing about the fact that when you think about it, and again, because I'm a parent, these are the things that are in my heart and mind. She is an impossibility. She basically operates like a toddler when she at best should only be like 2-3 months old. And like that's it's amazing because like it's only been a year. You know,
amazing! I see what you did there. Did it?
You know what I'm saying? Hey, you know the idea of her acuity, like her tenacity and her ability to just do stuff, is just great. You know, especially for like a baby. And like you said, like if they come up with like Mayday dolls and stuff, that's gonna be dope. But I'm expecting the next Comic-Con. Grown people walking around with the crochet Mayday masks. I don't see that.
1,000%.
I'm upset. I'm like, what are y'all fans? Do y'all even care? Like, yeah.
And just her name, bro. That's like the perfect name. Like, it's representing for Aunt May. But it's like Mayday because like she's hectic as fuck. Like,
crazy.
It's literally the perfect name. And then Trav, yours was the same as well. If you want to like give a little bit more of your take on Mayday.
In addition to that, I also like I always say to Allie, I don't know why, I just keep on saying like I feel like at least one of our kids is gonna be a girl. Like I feel like I'm destined to have a daughter, and I just feel like, and I just feel like I just love dad. Peter's interactions with and I could see myself just bringing her around everywhere and just
don't tell mom.
right, yeah, like, keeping it between us. Like the joke between Alex is like, you're saying if we have a daughter, they're gonna like you more than me.
Look, girls
at least know. At least
girls know. Like, girls know what a love is.
And like I always love in movies like the little like when there's a lot of peril. I do like the cutesy interactions that can kind of like bring a little bit of life to light to what's already like, all right, there's a lot of shit going on. So I loved seeing their interaction. I love too when like he
Mayday
right, yeah. And
Big
even
facts.
then when he was back home, it's like, did you bring her out again on another one of your
He's like, no, you told me not to do that. I would never.
He's like, I would never do that.
You told me not to. What do you mean?
Like you literally said, don't do that. Like what's wrong with you? Like, are you mad, bro?
Are you mental?
Are you mad? Are you having a laugh?
Not to.
I should mash your face, man.
In a future Halloween, I will be Peter Parker with the pink robe.
There you go.
I'm gonna have Mayday
for Cospalooza Halloween edition. Coming soon.
Ooh.
You feel? Let's just have Rennie in like a little harness and put the little nigga hat on her, bro.
There we go.
That's your costume, dog.
Listen, you just won Comic-Con.
You just won Comic-Con alone. Easy. We'll bleep this out so you can like hit him with it hard, bro. They'll never see it coming, bro. But I'm gonna say for my favorite character, didn't get a lot of screen time, but boy did he maximize every second. Ben Reilly. Scarlet Spider.
Oh yeah.
Fucking hilarious when he was like, perfect pose. Like, he's like, there's no use in trying to escape my enormous triceps.
His love affair with his own body was amazing.
Yeah, and Andy Samberg was him. Andy Samberg was the voice of Scarlet Spider. But yeah, every scene he was in was hilarious. He's like looking around the corner. Oh, that's something. I would like narrate everything he would do going down the alleyway. I thought he was funny, and I really liked their Adrian Toomes, their Vulture, like the one that was like the artwork, like it was crazy. I was like, maybe like a tad bit high. I was like high adjacent when I saw this movie. So like to start,
high adjacent.
I was high adjacent.
He was on the come down. That's what it was.
That's exactly what it was. You picking up with it down. Like I was coming down from being high. So like how that movie opened with like, the pastel colors of Gwen's like, universe, and then like old timey cartoon character comes flying in. I was like, whoa, like, this is crazy.
They got me. This is legit right here.
I was just like, damn, this shit ain't even a 3DX movie. This is crazy. I'm so glad. I love the fact that they chose not to have that movie in 3D. Like, I feel like that was like a big fuck you to like the overutilization of the 3D glasses for everything now.
Yeah.
I really liked that, like, to the best of my knowledge, no, that movie wasn't in 3D at all. Like, you didn't have like the option. Like, you see it in like IMAX and stuff, but like, and you didn't need it.
You didn't need it. Yeah, no, not at all.
That shit was a visual spectacle. But I love the part where Gwen was just like, oh, like, let me guess, like you were drinking tea and then a hole opened up your hair. He's like, that's exactly what happened.
You're like, oh. Okay.
But yeah,
right.
that whole scene was fire. All right, so we'll start with you. We'll go the other direction in the order on my screen. Favorite moment from the movie?
Well, since I didn't pay attention to the rollout, the very end.
Beautiful answer.
When it was, because I was sitting there and like I said, when I'm hearing Gwen speak, and I'm like, this sounds like ending type like music score going on right now, and then we see Miles Morales say, "I'm the Prowler," and I said, and I looked at the time, I was like I know the runtime of this movie. Oh, we done. Oh shit! Like this is like what the fuck? Like I want to see the next movie now. Like
right. The fact that it don't come out till 2025 makes me sick.
That's what you've seen. I've seen 2024.
Oh, did you? I saw 2025.
I want mine to be right.
No, I'm lying. That was Fast X Part 2.
Okay.
2025.
What a movie to have penciled in for that.
Fast X 10 Part 2.
Fast X 11.
Is that the series finale?
It's Fast X 11. So you know what would happen when you separate X? Bam.
2 1s.
Fucking Vin.
Yo.
He's a gem.
I'm just letting you know.
Look, I'm here for it. Look, I'm probably one of the few people keeping the lights on in the Toretto household. I'm a stand.
No, I gotta see the new one.
Yo, it's so ridiculous, but I love it.
Yeah.
Like, yo, Jason Momoa bodied that fucking role. Yo.
What?
He bodied it. Loved it.
No fighting. Mommy, no fighting.
I loved every second of Dante Reyes.
That's the main reason why me and you will never marry. That right
there. Look, Wild Stallion can't be tamed.
Matt said it could be Hobie and Gwen all day. You tell me how you want it, baby.
Well, not if they did it like how they did it. I'm comfortable with a lot of things.
Yeah.
That ain't one of them.
The playlist is fine. The pegging is not.
My bad.
Right, you can steal my chucks all you want, please. Like we draw the line there.
I'm gonna try to work now.
But that's a great answer, Trav. The end, because I was very happy about that. The Beyond the Universe coming out. Super happy about that. But Vic, what was your favorite moment of the movie?
Oh man, I've been sitting there trying to figure that out since, and I think for me, my favorite moment was when Miles showcased what his true abilities are. when he reveals that he drew everybody away from the facility for a reason. There was such a vibe of it, of kinetic just flow, and you're just watching it like, oh, this is amazing. And to see that Miles thought this through, especially considering that the whole time before, Peter B was like, well, he doesn't really think things through. He's just trying to do stuff. Miles was like, that's kind of insulting.
Right. Backhanded ass compliment.
Yeah. Like, I do put in work to try to figure out what I'm doing. I just can't answer everything. And I will do my best, but that's literally what it is. And that moment of realization for him, I think, was such a big one, because it was truly saying like, okay, maybe in your eyes, I'm not Spider-Man, but in my eyes, yes, I am. And there is nothing you can say or do to me that's going to stop me from being Spider-Man. That's my word. So that is that place for me.
Yeah, facts. Yeah, that line, that nah, I'm gonna do my own thing. Like, that shit was powerful, bro.
Huge, huge.
That shit was powerful. That's about to be the angsty teen anthem,
man.
Like the next 15 years.
Million percent.
All right, Yali, what was your favorite moment in the movie?
So mine is probably a bit morbid and sad, but I like this. My favorite scene was when Gwen got to like tell the actual story about what happened to her Peter. And it's like the scene where she was like holding her Peter, and her dad was like able to like basically see like, or think that she that Spider-Man is type of thing. But it was the thing where she was like holding him, and like I'm getting like a little bit choked up. And what I found really powerful about this scene is like, I think a lot of times with superhero films in general, they never allow the hero to grieve. And for some reason, it teaches kids, and not just kids, but people in general, like, you're not allowed to be sad. There's something about, like, heroes are not allowed to be sad about things. Like, as if emotions are a bad thing. Heroes can't be sad. They can't feel anything because it takes away their ability to focus and to do the job. Which is why one of my favorite superheroes, or like comics in general, is the Green Lanterns, which shows that emotions are superpowers. Whether the emotion is negative or positive, it's still a power. So when we get to see Gwen essentially grieve and be sad, and yes, that is like her Nexus event that causes her to like really take on her role as the Ghost Spider. But that scene was like a couple minutes or so of just her holding and grieving and being sad and losing essentially like her best friend and the love of her life. But we just couple minutes just holding him. And kids need to know it's okay to be sad. It's okay to lose someone. It's okay to feel bad that you lost someone. Take time to grieve. Why do we have to rush the process? A lot, especially like that, pissed me off the most. And I think No Way Home. Aunt May died, and it was a quick, and now we got to move along with the scene. No, that is his only living family. Why?
Well, not living.
Well, not living anymore, but you know.
That hurt, man. That hurt.
I love Marissa Tomei. I love her,
yeah. That's all he had for so long, and they rushed the shit out of that scene, and he just had to keep it pushing. Nowhere did he was allowed to really just grieve the loss of Aunt May. Like, that hurt. That really made me upset. Like, let him grieve. He just had to keep being Spider-Man. At no point was he allowed to be Peter Parker. And in that scene, Gwen was allowed to be Gwen Stacy, even if it was just for 2 whole minutes. So I really appreciated that scene, because he got to teach kids and people, you are allowed to just be sad and be in your feelings, even if it is only for 2 minutes. Please take the time to do it, because you're gonna have like a lifetime of just bitter and angriness, or you just end up like Miguel. Basically, you just end up like Miguel.
He's dealing with vampirism.
So is a lot of people in Marvel.
cut him some slack.
Blade goes to them like blood sex raves, and he's having a great fucking time.
Wow.
Well, clearly Miguel doesn't have time to go to the blood sex race. That's why he's so stressed out.
That's why he's so stressed out. He clearly has a delegation
1000% has a delegation problem. Like you literally have you legit have 10,000 employees.
Exactly.
You could do nothing if you wanted
Tell
to.
Jessica, hey Jessica, I'm going out. I need you to take charge of this, and then go hang out with Blade and Warrior.
Me and Blade about to go hit the blood rave. Like, anybody want anything?
Y'all good? Y'all good?
But to circle back to the Tom Holland Spider-Man and his grief. Let's be honest. When he stabbed Norman in the neck with that cure, he was hoping he caught a major artery. He was hoping. A little bit. Like he's like, fuck my great aim, yo. He was hoping he caught a blood vessel. Like, he's like, shit, I hit him in the spot I didn't want to hit him in. Like,
that's too funny.
Like when my man was cured, he's like, fuck, he's still alive. God damn.
But even in old time, fucking her brother died and she had to just keep going on. Like, can we give Wanda a couple minutes?
That's what WandaVision was. It circled back. But WandaVision was a meta commentary on what happens when you don't grieve.
Exactly. But if she had a couple minutes, we wouldn't have all of this shit.
Look, what we
had to go there.
The cardinal sin of Marvel movies is lack of communication. Look, Civil War, Cap and Tony had a falling out because they didn't have a conversation. Man.
Then I tell you, and I've been saying this forever. If all Hawkeye had to do was leave fucking Yelena a note, and none of that shit would have fucking happened. But no, we can't write a note. Snooki left Homegirl a note, and look what happened.
Everything's fine.
Way to bring it there.
I mean that didn't really end. It didn't end too well. Like that didn't work out too well for all parties involved.
It's not totally her fault, but I'm just saying, like, you get it.
She poured some gasoline on the fire. a little bit. But as our guest, because I know, like, again, our ideas can usually, like, fund and write the MCU and Marvel and DC and all of our, just come get us, right? And staff, come get us. Just come get us. Hey, so, Yali, we'll stick with you. What are your predictions for Beyond the Spider-Verse? What are your predictions and what would you like to see? Or they might be the same thing.
What I would like to see, my prediction is I think that Miles is going to die. I don't think that he survives any of this. I think in order for the universe to be reset and for things to flow the way it needs to, I think since Miles was never supposed to be Spider-Man, I think he has to die. I think they need to just let that Miles, he has to not, I think he needs to just go. Do I want that to happen? No. But because from what I have heard, they have no intentions of continuing the trilogy. Just like it's going to be a trilogy, and that's it. They don't have no intentions of continuing this story, these characters, at least in an animated format. So in order to like have like a clean ending, I believe that he is supposed to die. What I would like is for them to have it be that Gwen Stacy is the one who's supposed to die, since she's the reason why all of this drama happened in the first place.
Colin Iser.
Yeah.
Colleen.
Because in a lot of Spider-Man comics and like a lot of the movies, there's always supposed to be like this big sacrifice. In general, like it's just always someone has to do the big sacrifice and for things to like be better, and we all just sit there.
It's the thing.
Yeah, and then we all like there's some sort of like cute statue, and we all just thank you, well, whoever did it, we honor you with your great sacrifice. I think I would rather it be Gwen, and we all commemorate Gwen for her great sacrifice. But I think that they would make it be Miles because he was never supposed to, and there is no Peter in his universe, and so therefore there's no real repercussions. for having him die in that universe. So that's what I think that they're going to do. Have like a clean ending, and then we'll probably have like this big montage of all the other spider people, and everything in their universes are totally fine. And maybe it ends with like the birth of the Peter in Miles's universe or something, like a baby Peter, like, oh, look at cute baby Peter. And then maybe that's how it was supposed to be, you know, like maybe it's just too early or something like that. So I think that's how it will go. And then I think what we will see, which is why Shamik is like trying to get in buff shape, is because they're getting ready to introduce Miles Morales in like live action form or something like that. So that's my thought for it.
Solid.
Quick question for you, because as someone of a like Hispanic heritage and Miles is biracial, would you be bothered if Shamik was live action since he's just black? Like, would you feel slighted in a way?
No, because I'm gonna be completely honest. The amount of biracial actors in Hollywood who have any like, I'm gonna use the word status, even though that's the wrong term, is zero. So, and right now no real like studio are like, they're not taking chances on no names, essentially. Like, they're just not. Which is like, I get, because, you know, COVID and inflation and all that other shit. And like, the only biracial actor that I know right now who is the guy from you watched Rings of Power, the elf who was like fucking the regular girl, the divorce actor.
He's way too old though.
That's what I'm saying. He's way too old.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
The biracial actors right now are just way too old to play Miles Morales. Like, period. And if they're gonna take a chance on someone, I feel like that's not going to happen. So if Shamik wanted to do it, like, I wouldn't be offended, because he knows the character at the very least. Like, he knows the character. He's been the character, and like, there's a love for Miles, and so if he wanted to do it, I wouldn't be offended, because like, and also there's just none. There really is none, honestly. So, I know the kid who played God, I can't remember his name, but the Runaways, he's biracial, and he was also in Encanto, but he's also too old to play the character, so I don't know.
I'm gonna say it here, so if it happens, I'm taking all the credit for it. But there's this show called Family Reunion that comes on Netflix. It's like Tia Mowry's, like, her sitcom. I think it's a Tyler Perry production thing, but it's a funny show. It's campy as fuck, but it's funny. It's supposed to be. But there's a kid on the show. His name is like Isaiah something. Isaiah Bailey, I think. I can't. That might be his name. I'm pretty sure that's his name. Since I've seen that young man, I was like, he would be a perfect Miles Morales. Like, if you he is biracial, but I think he's like black and white. But like, in terms of like, you know, a lot of black and white kids look Hispanic, like, for some reason, black plus white equals Hispanic. Like, but like, if you look him up, his name is Isaiah Bailey. Like, I just like have always said, like, oh, if they ever did a live action Miles Morales, like, so if he's not on somebody's radar, somebody ain't doing their job. Somebody ain't doing their job. But Yali, but your theory, because I want to get to Vic and your predictions. Your theory got my brain wheels spinning. Could Miles' sacrifice not necessarily be death, but he chooses to say goodbye to his universe to stay in the one that's all fucked up, where he was the Prowler, to like fix it, like, because they don't have a Spider-Man. Because that spider fell through to his universe. They didn't have a Spider-Man, and it's just all trash. Like, could his sacrifice be because, like, genetically he's supposed to be in that universe, like that, and you still get the scene of like him saying goodbye to his parents? That could be that moment between him and his dad where he's letting his son go. Like, he's letting him spread his wings and fly. It's just like, oh, like, I love you guys. Like, I'll try to poke that. The end credit scene could be Hobie dropping him off a bracelet so he could go see his parents.
Aww.
Like, that could be the end
Hobie would do
scene. Hobie would do it, but we would get that moment of like it's him having to leave behind, making that sacrifice. Like, yo, like I can't stay in my world anymore. This world needs me. Like this is me thinking I'm saying goodbye. We get the crying. The end credits is a beautiful. I'm Spider-Man swinging through the city, fixing it. All the fire and brimstone that was in the background of that world. It's getting doused. But then like we get the little end credit scene. All you see is little Hobie's hand poke through a little wormhole and drop a little bracelet on his bed. Hey, boom, mic drop, ending written itself.
Yours is a much nicer ending than mine. Mine is much more like
kill them all. Yali said kill everyone. Like, Spider Noir doesn't make it out. Spider Pig dead.
Dang.
He's
roast. Turned into bacon. He's roast.
He's roast now.
He's roast.
Terrible.
But Vic, I always know that your comic creative mind is rolling. I know as soon as that movie ended, you was already in your head like, oh, I have so many ideas. The tangle web we weave.
I had a baby being born in mine. It wasn't that bad.
I mean, it was dope. It was
reincarnation. So it's Jesus. Yeah. It's basically Jesus.
Amnesia.
I would say that what I see happening is Gwen trying to sacrifice herself, but it's Miguel who actually does it. And not only does Miguel sacrifice himself, what he would do is potentially in the Miles G. Morales universe, find that Peter Parker and bite him. And he would become the vampire version of a Spider-Man, because Miguel would not only bite him, but give up his suit, which is how Miguel has a lot of his powers as well. So that would happen. I think ultimately we would get the Miles sacrifice, and Miles would end up in the MCU. He would be the live action iteration of himself. That something happens, we can call it a time warp, whatever, and he would end up in the MCU and be that particular opportunity for Spider-Man.
That would be fire. That transition scene, like him like stepping through a hole and being like a live action person, would be fucking bananas.
Yeah, like he would step through and start glitching, and then when he stops glitching, he's a real person.
That would be wild. And Fury's gonna be there.
Of course.
I mean, we don't know what's gonna happen to him to Secret Invasion, but like somebody will be on the other side, like, what took you so long?
It'd be cute if it was Tom Holland still. Like,
that would be. That would be.
And just point like.
Yeah, that would be fire if it was.
Because actually, whoa, hold on now. Because all
right, here we go.
Into Spider-Man, and what would happen is, what would make it so great is Miles would know who Peter was, and he'd be the only person that knew who he was. Him. Because and Peter would embrace it because he's like, nobody else knows me. And
did we just become best friends? Yep.
Right.
Well.
Facts.
That's what I would.
And then they would be fucking roommates.
Dope.
What?
Dope.
Buddy cop Spider-Man movie on the way.
I would watch it on repeat. Especially if in this iteration Miles is technically older, that would be interesting. Where Miles becomes the mentor to Peter.
Just come get us, Marvel, Sony, whoever wants it, both of y'all.
I'm just saying, who wants a Billy? Anybody else? That's a $1 billion franchise. Let's go.
That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Man, well, there's never ever a good way to end these things because, again, I could always talk to you guys for forever. But for the ears of the listener, we'll be mindful of the length of the episode. But before we close this bad boy out, we always like to use our platform to highlight our guests and lift you guys up and give you as much exposure as we possibly can. So, Vic, you are a forever reoccurring guest on DB4L, family forever. Another one that we like outside of this podcast. It's not just business.
That's
Mr.
right.
Dandridge, harder working man in comics. If you want to let the people know how they can find you, how they can support and what you got going on.
Of course. As always, it's comics first. So Vantage In-House Productions is my imprint. You can check it out at vantageinhouse.com. We've got some amazing books coming out. Big things that I'm building, my own Spider-Verse, if you will, of interconnected titles.
and big stories that are coming out from that. If you want to make comics, we help you do so through You Create Comics. That's the letter U, CRE, the number 8 comics.com. We have amazing hands-on tactile supplies to help you make your own comics from start to finish. Doesn't matter how old you are. We aim for the kid or the kid in you. And we really firmly believe that kids who make comics read comics, and kids who read comics can read anything. So by all means, check out what we're doing.
Love it. And then the main event, making her DB4L debut.
That's right.
Amnesia. The soul of Dragon Ball for Life. We shout her out on every episode, and that is done by design. She keeps the lights on. She keeps the motor running. She keeps the car gassed up. Miss Yali Perez, all caps. Yeah, we definitely have to bring you in for your Dragon Call and exclusive news, breaking news. Like Yali will be doing her own personal Dragon Call on the DB4L podcast, and we are very excited about getting that episode done. That episode is going to go off the rails right from the beginning, I would imagine.
You're already calling it.
Well, I call it my shot. That episode is going to be pandemonium, but it's going to be great. Well, Yali, let the people know where they can find you, how they can support what you got going on.
Well, of course, you can always support DB4L, where I'm working tirelessly to bring you guys great guests, and support us when we bring you Cospalooza Chapter 2, the Halloween edition. Can't wait to and we're also working on working with some other people to bring you some other cool events here in the city of Philadelphia. You can support me at the Game Hers, where I do content creation and I produce other events. I basically have become a producer. Don't know when that happened, but it is what it is.
Put it on the resume, baby.
That's right. Gotta get the checks, gotta get the coins. You can follow me on Instagram, because that's all I have now, at beautifully_Yali. I am single, so if you want to hit up my DMs, you can.
So let them know.
Put some air horns in on that mic.
Just so you know, I'm not into pegging, so don't like.
You don't have to run off. If you have chucks, she won't steal them.
I'm not into that.
Your chucks are safe with her.
Yes, I also have like tiny feet, so I don't fit most men's shoes.
There you go.
And I'm just here supporting DB4L as always. I always have a hot take, I always have an inappropriate take, and you can always find me at a strawberry festival.
Instead of seeing your friends.
I was about to say.
Apparently they're fucking season. And it's been a good time. I love you guys. Always have a good time when I'm here with you, and I can't wait to be on Dragon Call, where I potentially say some more spicy shit about Crunchyroll. So
Hey,
there we go.
Whoa, always leave them wanting more. She said foreshadowing.
And Crunchyroll is owned by Sony, so it's all connected. It's all interwoven.
Look, we always circle back and bring it home. We always end these episodes how we start them. But as always, my good brother Troto Trav, do you have any final words of wisdom before we close this bad boy out?
I just always love having y'all on. Finally, we got all caps Yali in the building, and and the next time you're in Philly, Vic, I'm gonna make sure I'm free, so we can link up. But
Absolutely.
but love the discussion as always, and this is one of future many, one of the many multiverses that we all
Absolutely.
exist in, so
Absolutely. Except for the laziest man in novels, we don't.
Yeah.
I want to see that.
We're not linking up with that version. Of
Nah, I don't even feel. I feel like he's not even where Vic from. I feel like he lives in like Maine or some shit. He definitely lives in Maine, for sure. Like he's in a bad mood when it doesn't rain. That's
Sunshine.
He's like, the sun's out today.
You said beautiful day.
I feel motivated. I hate it.
Today is beautiful. Ugh. Oh man. Woo. Well, we call you guys the lifers because you quite literally put the life into Dragon Ball for life. So we will include our guests, all their information, how you can find them, how you can support to stay up to date on all things DB4L, like and subscribe, all that fun influencer shit that I'm obligated to say. We will put it in the all powerful link tree of Mike. You see what I did there in the description of this video. And like we always say here on Dragon Ball for Life, whether you watch it or you read it, we all need it. So open up your nerd eye and we will see you next time on Dragon Ball for Life. Dodon Ray. Shout out to super producer Mikey.
We love you, Mikey. And shout out to you, Yali.
All
caps.
Fucking caps. Later, nerds. Bow.
This is All for One. All is well, for I am here. And you've been listening to the Dragon Ball for Life podcast. Now, do it again.